On Friday, July 26th, take the next gen to the California Sands at Auto Club for the inaugural Luke's Playhouse 200 charity race. A $5 minimum entry fee donation gives you the chance to race against real NASCAR stars and show support for Luke's Playhouse's commitment to providing aquatic therapy for children and adults with chronic illnesses. 100 laps, no stages, one winner. Catch all the action July 26th on Pit Stop TV. On Friday, July 26th, take the next gen to the California Sands at Auto Club for the inaugural Luke's Playhouse 200 charity race. A $5 minimum entry fee donation gives you the chance to race against real NASCAR stars and show support for Luke's Playhouse's commitment to providing aquatic therapy for children and adults with chronic illnesses. 100 laps, no stages, one winner. Catch all the action July 26th on Pit Stop TV.
Racing and sim racing in particular is often seen as a pointless hobby or activity, yet so often we see charity-oriented events pop up in sim racing groups, such as this event this evening. The Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym 200 is here to help fund a mission, one envisioned by Luke Rainwater and his family. Luke's story starts in 2009 with spina bifida at birth and continues with his strength and perseverance to live an incredibly full and inspiring life and help start Luke's Playhouse, somewhere that individuals like himself can receive aquatic therapy and enjoy a full-size gymnasium. That's the vision, the mission of the Rainwater family. We're here tonight to race, yes, but also to help raise money for this family and their vision to help others. Let's go racing. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Fontana, California. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV with Nathan Finnegan alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of Luke's Playhouse 200. Tonight's coverage from California is brought to you by Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym, Pine Golf, and of course by Whiplash Sim Cams. Nathan, thank you, first of all, so much for joining me this evening, donating your time, and going along for what is going to be a wild ride this evening at the Virtual Auto Club Speedway. This is a really darn cool racetrack, 2 miles in length. It's a shame it's now been closed down, but we can take a look at the track map, Nathan, and as a driver, you look at this D-shaped oval, what do you think immediately?
Carrying the momentum through the corner is going to be crucial for drivers tonight.
That it is. Momentum will be top of the game, top of what these drivers need to be doing. You see the road course layouts in between. Looks like some kind of techno map or whatever, but we're racing on the blue layout around the racetrack, that D-shaped oval. That's the 2-mile D-shaped oval we're racing on this evening. I'm excited. We've got some really cool drivers, some big-time star power in this race that we'll be talking about here very shortly. But before we go down trackside and talk about too much else, we have a quick message from Luke Rainwater himself. Strap in. We turn the music down, and he's going to give us the command to start engines.
Driver, start your engines.
Thank you, Luke, and we will be starting engines here very shortly. Qualifying is wrapping up, and we can take a look at the left side of your screen and see who is fast in qualifying. Nick Leitz, fastest of the bunch. Vicente Salas, Joseph Mealy, Jackson Anderson, Alex Coffey, your top 5. And Nathan, what's going to happen is these drivers are going to go heat racing this evening. 2 heats, 10 laps apiece. That is not very long to get in line, get the spot you need to be in to try and make the transfer. The top 10 transfer, that'll set a field of 20. Now, if we get a few last minute entrants, which it looks like we're going to be just under 43, we're at 40 right now. If we do go over 43, this is where that transfer is going to matter because we'll go LCQ racing. So if we take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details, bottom right of your screen, you can see a 100-lap feature race. That's the big event this evening. But you have to go through the heats and potentially an LCQ. In parentheses, you see how many drivers transfer in total. From the 2 heats, we can have 20 transferring. From the LCQ, it would be 23. Luckily for these drivers, we're sitting at 39 right now, Nathan. How much of a relief is that on these drivers' shoulders to potentially not have to go LCQ racing?
Huge, Andrew. And I think also, too, being said, you know, these drivers, not everyone might be aware that we don't have LCQ racing, so people might really be pushing it to the limit in these heat races. And for everybody tuning in at home, should put on a good show.
Brendan Kennedy mentioning out in the chat that this place is set to become a short track, and yes, hopefully it's revived in some regard. A lot of the land being torn up around the speedway and being used for multi-uses, but hopefully we're back racing on these grounds someday soon. Before we go racing this evening, I want to take a look at what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. There's a couple of Icon Cup Series races that you'll find Nathan Finnegan racing in. First, coming up at Atlanta Motor Speedway this Sunday, and then again in a week's time at right back here at Auto Club Speedway. So this is a nice little refresher for us at what this place is like before we go Icon Cup racing here in just about a week and a half, even less than that, I'd say. And right in the middle, a little less than a week from now, we're going racing in Japan at the Suzuka Circuit on August the 1st for the North American Racing League. Now, in case you're tuning in this evening and you're brand new to Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym and what these Rainwaters are trying to do, they are trying to basically build a YMCA for individuals who have been born with whether it's spina bifida like Luke has or have other disabilities that hold them back a little bit. This is a way for them to go get aquatic therapy, licensed aquatic therapy, and be able to work on themselves, have a full-size gymnasium for their own benefit. And I can't think of a better mission, honestly. I really can't think of a better mission to be racing for this evening. There's already been $1,000 raised, Nathan. $1,000 raised for the Rainwater family and Luke's Playhouse, and that is just some of the best news that we were given before we went live this evening. Over $1,000 and counting. You can donate by going onto Venmo and donating to well, I guess not but to Luke's Playhouse, at Luke's Playhouse, or on the website /Luke's Playhouse. So you can donate, you can give whatever you're able. If you're not able, that's totally okay. Watch along with us this evening, enjoy some racing as we get ready to go Heat 1 racing. I am excited. We're going to turn things over into the iRacing.com sim, and let's meet our starting grid for Heat number 1. 20 cars in total. On pole, it's Nick Leitz, fastest qualifier this evening. Joseph Mealy will start from second. Alex Coffey is going to roll off third. Then it's Barrett Morton in fourth. To complete your top 5, how about Sam King alongside Thomas Aaron? Row number 4, it's Hunter Hughes and Victor Fluger. And row 5, you have Justin Clapper and Riley Weaver. Nathan's new to this, admittedly, so I'm going to give him a break here for the first heat race, and I'm going to go through the next 10 and let him warm up on some of these names. Austin McColgan's going to roll off 11th. Andrew Keisler, I believe, from the 12th spot this evening in car number 8. Christian Light, Cody Curran from row number 7, and from row number 8... you'll have Colton Gardner and Trevor Zelazny. Finally, to round out your field, the last 4 cars in the field, Christopher Fuge, Shea Wills, Caden Honeycutt, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver himself, Caden Honeycutt, and Shane Huffman from Pinnacle Racing Group will roll off in the 20th spot. So a very strong 20-car field here, Nathan. Any thoughts before these drivers roll off the grid?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to have to manage their stuff. We have a quick couple laps here on this heat race, but I think that's going to just push the envelope that much more for drivers to really, force the issue and force a 3 wide, 4 wide even maybe. This track can certainly handle it, so it should be exciting.
You're seeing cars for the first time today. There's Nick Leitz, and you'll notice very quickly some of the car numbers these guys have on the ticker may not match up perfectly with their car numbers on their paint schemes. We'll work with it and learn throughout the course of this evening's event who's in what car and how it matches up. But one more look at those Whiplash SimCam's race details. Bottom right of your screen, this is a 10-lap heat race, which is very quick, about 10 laps, probably about 7 minutes or so here in racing, maybe 6. And again, we'll be sending everybody into the race, but this is going to work like a Daytona duel. Now that we're not eliminating drivers, this will work like a Daytona duel where it's going to set the entire inside line of the field. The second heat will set the outside line of the field. 6 setups, 3 change sets in the pit lane for the race later on. And weather conditions coming into this race, you see about 83 degrees in the air, 106 on track. It's a hot day. Not too hot, but it's still a hot day this afternoon in the virtual Fontana, California. As we get set to go racing, we'll turn things over to the drivers. Nick Leitz on pole, then Joseph Mealy into the restart zone, and for the first time today in the Luke's Playhouse 200, we are green. One car sideways already. That's from fourth spot. Barrett Morton sliding, spinning, crashing. James Watson in the wall, flipping over. Lap one. We've got two flips, nearly a third. Oh my goodness is right. Trevor Zelazny just passed a car on his lid. I'm impressed. And Zelazny will tow back to the pit lane. He and it was not James Watson, it was Victor Pfluger from Team Watson Racing Setups on his lid. I recognize the Team Watson logo, but boy, what a mess on lap one. Let's go back and get a look at it from Pfluger's perspective. Starting 8th in this field, Nathan, walk us through this replay and what we just saw happen down in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just trying to drive the middle a little bit too hot in the entry. You know, it gets slick for sure on these cold tires. You really got to let them warm up, especially in this hot California sun. And then once he got loose, trying to gather it up, and it just snapped. And it's so hard to catch these next gens. Oh my gosh, what a flip. I hope everybody's okay there.
Of course, sim racing, we don't have to worry about the same kind of bodily injury maybe as a real race, if you will, but we do actually have to worry about wrists sometimes in these crashes, these accidents, so that's absolutely a possibility. Somebody actually could get their thumbs caught in the rim of the wheel and maybe hurt their wrist, hurt their hand, hurt their finger, whatever. And motion rigs, who knows what can happen. If you're flipping upside down, I'd hate to imagine that the rig is going to flip you upside down, literally, but who knows these days, as this is a view from Trevor Zelazny. He gets hit. Wow, how did he flip there?
That's a wonderful question. I'm wondering the same thing, and yeah, I've been on the receiving end of the direct drive wheels snapping before. It's not a good feeling on the hands, for sure.
That was the view from Zelazny's perspective. This, another look at it for the Flem Dogs Chevrolet. Just ramped off the left rear of Barrett Morton's car and went up in the air. You see the bumper flying off and going airborne. Not the way we wanted to start the day, but definitely one of the ways that we could have. Let's go on board with Barrett Morton from the, let's see, the second row. We'll go on board and see how he got so loose from the get-go. It's up through the gears to fourth. On a seam, do the seams really matter that much, or did he just get a little free with cold tires?
I'm wondering, honestly, if there was just maybe a little bit too much steering angle in it with the throttle input that he had at that point. You get to a point, especially on the cold tires, you really kind of want to just sail it in and let it coast to apex as much as you possibly can, especially when it's not hooked up yet. Unfortunate for the number 9, for sure.
Get one more look at it for Barrett Morton and company, and just really hate that this has happened on lap number 1. Now, caution laps apparently will not count for these drivers during these heat races. Look, the outside seam kind of came down. I think you're right, had a little too much steering angle into it. I don't know that the seam is really what got him, but there you see just a massive accident in turn number 2, and it kept compounding more and more and more. But
yeah, when you're on the outside groove, you just kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best and hope the guy in front of you gathers it up, because once that thing snaps across you, there's just nowhere to go here.
But as you can see, fast repair has been taken by most of the field, I feel like, and they're back in it. Now, I want to highlight one driver. It's, I think, a given to highlight him. A junior motorsports driver on the iRacing side. Caden Honeycutt joining us this evening. Glad that he's taking time out of his busy schedule, of course, racing in the eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series, running his number 8 filter time Chevrolet from Junior Motorsports. Really thankful to have Caden in the field. I know he's probably got some Cars Tour duties this weekend, I would imagine, considering they're at Hickory for the Throwback 276. If not, he might be racing in the trucks. I actually don't know what he's doing this weekend. I'm sure he's busy somewhere at some racetrack. He seems to always be busy, but we'll have a bright yellow and blue number 8 filter time Chevrolet to join us this evening. Glad he's here. We'll see a few other NASCAR industry stars in the field, including Shane Huffman. He's here in car number 84, actually right behind Caden, as we get ready to go back green flag racing, this time by We will now begin lap number 2, and these guys are up against a 12-minute time limit just in case. Green flag, though, back in the air at Auto Club.
Great jump by the 15, my gosh.
A big restart out of Nick Leitz. Alex Coffey going to try and fill the gap and go for second. Cars way out wide to the outside lane. A lot of green cars at the front. Some view that as bad luck, but these guys in the green cars out front are not. They are rolling with things as now the 15 of Alex Coffey jumps in line behind Joseph Mealy. Sam King down low on the bottom side, a little free up out of the corner, and one lap will go complete this time by, and already that number 8 car is up to the 6th position. Caden Honeycutt moving up quickly.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised, Andrew, if he's not one of our biggest movers of the heat race here.
Of course, he is an NASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series driver. It's a tongue twister each and every time, but to have that tagline next to your name, you know he's going to be quick. He's a pro driver for a reason as he moves up here to the inside of Sam King and sends it to the inside of turns 3 and 4. Going to bring the 93 of Thomas Aaron along with. And Caden's almost got him clear, and Sam King's in the wall hard. Well, he's got him clear now.
Oh yeah, stays green still too.
There's the caution.
Spoke too soon.
Oh, and they're really crashing up ahead. Yeah, the 23 is in it again. That's the Lasny spinning around, and sure enough, we're going to go back to a caution. Looks like Shane Huffman's a part of it.
You gotta wonder, Andrew, how many of these guys that are involved this time already previously took a fast repair and don't have another one.
Zelazny would be one of them. Remember, he was upside down, so he will definitely be sporting that damage the rest of the race. There was a spin right behind Shane Huffman, and this is a view of Shane Huffman through this crash. See how it all happens. He actually gets hooked. So chaos early here, it's difficult, I'd imagine, as drivers, for these guys to kind of settle in once you have incidents like this to start the day. I do hope this doesn't set any kind of bad, I guess, what am I looking for? Bad momentum, bad juju, if you will. I hope this is just getting out the shakes early.
It's tricky, especially with, we were saying, those cold tires, and if we're not able to get a long run in, you know, this is a heavy momentum-based track, so it's, having a consistent rhythm is so important here. And it's, with it being as wide as it is, you try to run for the hills to avoid any carnage, and sometimes it just finds you.
Going back a little bit here with Andrew Keisler out of Indiana. Gonna just listen and watch what happens on this restart. You see Justin Clapper to the inside of the 63 car. The 3 out wide, that's Cody Curran in the 3 car. And one car gets turned, that was... I don't think the number is matching up, but then right here, avoiding Sam King, who gets the wall. Keisler just caught in the middle of all of that, and that's what starts that big crash in the front stretch with Shane Huffman. Well, this holds us up a little bit, and you see the damage for Keisler on the right side of his car. He has already taken a fast repair. I think about half the field now has. Hunter Hughes, the highest driver, who's taken one of the 18 car. Hughes has taken his. Barrett Morton has taken his. Then you've also got Andrew Keisler. You've got Justin Clapper, Victor Pfluger, Riley Weaver, now Sam King, Cody Curran, and Trevor Zelazny. Shane Huffman's is pending, as Huffman has just gotten back to the pit box and has, I believe, now taken his as well. And yes, has now taken his fast repair. So right around half the field out of 20 cars, we've got nearly 10 of them having taken a fast repair, and it's lap 4. And this heat race, again, has that time limit. Now, you're in the session. You can tell me exactly how much time, or I guess approximately how much time these guys have left.
Yeah, as it's looking like right now, we're technically over the 12-minute time frame, so I'm not sure how this is going to play out exactly. We're coming up on 14 minutes to be exact in a moment.
Now they do have, it's 12 minutes from the time of green, so part of that would have been these guys gritting up and just getting getting around the racetrack. So I think we have about 2.5, maybe even 3 minutes of wiggle room there.
Yeah, that's probably a good estimate.
But once these guys go green, they can't have much longer, right? This is going to be a pretty quick heat race from here at this point.
You almost have to kind of treat it as a green-white checker type situation here with, this might be the very last time we get to go green. So it goes to show qualifying times really do matter when it comes to these heat races.
It might even be a green checkered, honestly. We might only get one lap of green flag racing in once these guys get back to it. And there's not a whole lot to say yet about these drivers, admittedly, because we have had caution after now another caution. But we're going to learn, I think, a lot in Heat 2. And Heat 2 is sitting there, all those drivers are wondering and watching this race, and I think learning what not to do in their heat, right?
Exactly. What grooves to kind of get into, what lanes to follow, and where you want to kind of set your car up, especially on these early lap runs here.
Kevin Gunther, I believe it may be. We'll have to get clarification. I think Noah Rainwater will know if that's the same Shane Huffman that runs late models at Hickory. I know there's a couple of Landon Huffmans that do. There's a Landon Huffman and a Landon S. Huffman at each race at Hickory, and there is a difference, very big difference between the two. But for now, we're going to work back into the Geico restart zone and go back green flag racing. It says final lap. Is it going to be white flag and checkered, or is it's just going to be checkered? This is checkered flag for these guys.
Okay.
I think they're going to try and race it out, though. Caden Honeycutt, doors one onto the grass. That's Alex Coffey back up in front of the field. And it's chaos down in turn one. But I believe the heat is going to count as it was. We're learning a lot. They might be racing it out for one lap. We'll see.
I was just going to say, I think we might be racing for the heat win here.
So Honeycutt on the outside. That is Nick Leitz on the bottom. And scoring has pieced out. So yeah, I think scoring is going to freeze there with the time of green. I think that was it for these guys. I think this is just kind of extracurricular, still waving that checkered flag. Regardless, Nick Leitz is back to the stripe first, and now it actually updates. So they must have been shown one to go. Nick Leitz, I think, is going to win it. Honeycutt goes second, Mealy third. And I guess we'll find out from there what happens. I don't know. We're learning a lot here, Nathan.
Yeah, we're learning in real time as much as our viewers are, absolutely.
And I want to thank you again for joining me on the mic this evening. This has been a pleasure already. I know it's brand new to you, the concept of talking about race cars and not just being in the race cars, as you're a member of the admin team and the driver team, if you will, at the Icon Cup Series. So you're on broadcast every Sunday, but not as a commentator, rather as a driver with us at Pit Stop TV. So glad to have you on the mic this evening, learning about the other side of the fence. How's it been so far?
Oh, it's been great. I appreciate having me up here, and definitely a different view of the racetrack for sure than what we're used to, and further appreciation for everyone who does all the work behind the scenes. It's not easy.
Well, we're going to give it another shot here for heat number 2. Vicente Salas going to lead us to the green. Jackson Anderson going to roll off second spot, rather. Third, it'll be Quentin Lee in the 2 car, then Cody Vaughn in the 61. From 4th spot, 5th and 6th, it'll be Noah Rainwater and NASCAR star spotter, Jonathan Platt. From the 6th position, James Watson rolls off 7th, Corey Moore from 8th, and from the very back of the top 10, it's Matthew Ponce and Scott Romano. Do you want to give these next 9 a shot?
I'll give it a shot. We got Caden Lapsevich in the 11th spot, Chase Leahy in the 12th spot, Evan Gilbert on the inside, the 22 machine, Gregory Sepsis on the outside, Stacy Hunter in the 71, in the 15th position, Justin Blackburn, the 41 in the 16th position, Michael Klein on the inside in the 17th position, and Logan Joyle on the 18th position. And rounding out the end of this heat, Steven Lecheski in the 99 B19.
Fantastic job. Everybody give him a round of applause, as it's his first time going through a grid on the mic and did a fantastic job. We have got 19 cars ready to go for 10 laps. Again, if you've got a chance here, donate to Luke's Playhouse on Venmo at Luke's Playhouse and contribute to the cause this evening. That's what we're racing for. Let's get back down to the Geico restart zone. Vicente Salas going to lead us to the green flag, and we are green for heat number 2. Through the banking turns 1 and 2. Vicente Salas leading us around the Micro Center Toyota Camry on the bottom side of the racetrack. Everybody finding their spot in line and getting running now down to turn number 3. There's a ghost Jeff Gordon paint scheme on the outside of row 2. Cody Vaughn in the 61. We'll see what he can do as we're racing for the race lead up ahead. Vicente Salas on his back foot trying to get back ahead of Jackson Anderson by the line.
These two guys battling just up front is exactly what the Ghost wants to see. He's going to pull them back right to him.
On board with Vicente Salas as Jackson Anderson goes high, wide, and handsome in turns 1 and 2. Paints the outside wall. Painting the bottom side, though, is Salas, and that works out nicely. He gets back ahead of the Harpoon Designs 83 as one car demolishes the inside wall. Caden Lapsevich in trouble. Wow. What a hellacious impact. No caution yet, and there will be no caution for it. Whoa, that was nearly, they're both in the wall. That was nearly another big crash. That time on the front stretch, Salas gets himself clear of Jackson Anderson. Here comes Cody Vaughn.
Yeah, Andrew, I think after Heat 1, everybody realizing how much the intensity has to pick up because there's just, you don't know how many green flag laps you're going to get here.
No, you don't, although we're on to lap 3, so already a pretty solid start for Heat 2. A more promising start for sure, aside from Caden Lapsevich's problem there on the backstretch. Hopefully he gets back into it and gets back in the race here in just a little while. But you can see the different lanes these drivers are able to use. That's going to give these guys options, which is what you want in this next-gen car. Options with how to run the corner, where to put your race car, and then draft on the straightaways. It's already working to a T. Here comes Rainwater in the 05. Vicente Salas fastest lap that time. He leads. Rainwater runs second. And, you know, pre-race, I was talking with Noah Rainwater about picks that his brother Luke was going to have. Well, 2 of them are in the top 3 now. Vicente Salas and Noah Rainwater in the top 3 in heat number 2. Oh, and that other guy, Caden Honeycutt, he went second in heat 1. So clearly he's got some pretty solid picks between Caden Honeycutt, Noah Rainwater, and Vicente Salas. So Luke, tip of the cap to you. You have done well in picking who you are rooting for this evening, and we're glad you're watching along as Jackson Anderson goes fastest that lap and brings the fight to Vicente Salas.
And he's going to try to run that outside wall, just trying to get a run here. Vicente is just doing a great job, though, keeping him honest and side drafting him, keep him side by side as much as possible.
Ooh, a little bit of contact down the backstretch. Lap number 5, more contact there in turn 3 maybe, as they lean on each other for the race lead. The ERA Micro Center Toyota Camry now giving way to the Harpoon Design Chevrolet Camaro on the outside. Jackson Anderson pulling the advantage to the stripe. Oh, doing some more. Hello. And here comes Rainwater all the way on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to make it 3 wide and go underneath Vicente Salas, and it's going to work.
This and of course, exactly what the 2 and the 61 want to see, because they're just going to bring them right into the mix here in a moment.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, Vicente Salas, also an eNASCAR iRace and Coca-Cola Series driver. Not sure how that one escaped me for a moment. So clearly the pros are keeping things nice and tidy up front. But Chente now trying to get position back on the 83 here, side drafting, pulls a gear, and oh, is door banging some more with Anderson. Love this onboard shot when Vicente goes all the way down to the bottom. You can see everybody running their different lines through the corner, and Vicente will get clear here of Jackson Anderson one more time. A shot there at the keister down the backstretch. It'll be 3 laps to go.
Didn't want to send the crossover there just yet. Oh, but he's doing it into 3 here. Let's see if he finished the slider.
Slide job attempt. Anderson gets free, and it's not going to go that time in 3 and 4. In fact, here comes Noah Rainwater to take over second spot. Here comes the 2 as well of Quentin Lee. The action has been impeccable up front. Absolutely fantastic racing between these drivers at the front of heat number 2. I know a lot's going on through this 19-car field, but right now everything is up front. Vicente Salas down the racetrack trying to break the draft. Noah Rainwater trying to follow him. And whoa, hello, car number 2, working the very outside of the racetrack. It's the wall there, 2 laps to go this time by. And caution. Michael Klein in trouble in the 29 car. And that might be a heat race. I don't want to say heat race ending because he's got a fast repair, but it would be otherwise a heat race ending crash, it looks like, for Klein. A lot of damage to that number 29 Toyota Camry. We'll get a look back at it. Racing there with the 84. And the 99 car. The 99 is Steven Lashinsky. I believe the 84 is Cody Moore, and Klein just, wow.
Yeah, that middle groove can really bite you in 3 and 4. It just, the car doesn't want to really settle in there. You can see it down the backstretch a little bit too, Andrew. You just see how much of the suspension it's going and just how much it's unloading on entry.
On board of Klein on the outside of the Infinity Pay machine, and Klein just goes for a big header to the outside wall. I mean, just got free and threw the wheel at it to try and correct it, and overcorrected big time. This is in car and particularly in helmet. You see Klein saved it there in 1 and 2, saved it again. Comes the Toyota of Corey Moore. Man, that's a big hit. Right here, pow.
Yeah, and as soon as it steps the rear, it is so hard to catch. And you hear the real-life drivers talk about the exact same issue with this thing. And it's just little too much throttle, I think, and a little too much steering input. Probably trying to match the telemetry and the S&T a little bit of what the car in the low groove was doing, but just you can't run that in the middle groove here, unfortunately.
See Klein in the pit lane waiting on a tow back, and you can tell he's waiting on a tow still. Because the car has not yet repaired itself. You see, he took the tow. Pit lane time and box time are the exact same. Should hopefully be back to the box here soon, but Vicente Salas leading the way. We should have the 1 to green signal this time by for Salas, Rainwater, Anderson, Lee, and everybody else in the top 5. Cody Vaughn's been hanging on to the top 5. He runs in the 5th spot. Matthew Ponton 6th, and is it Pont or Ponty? It might be Ponty. Jonathan Platt has been pretty solid here in this heat race as well, although the paint scheme, it looks like, is for the old Toyota, but that's okay. He runs in the 7th spot. James Watson in 8th. 9th place is Evan Gilbert, and 10th is Gregory Shepsis.
Definitely a solid showing so far in the second heat race that we've had.
And it looks like we have gotten the 1 to green signal, but we'll go single file restarts as the iRacing.com safety car lights have been extinguished. But the field is lining up single file around the top side of the racetrack. Now, what's interesting here as well is these guys are running at the very top of the track, which usually, conventionally, would mean they're picking up all of the dust and dirt and marbles that gets discarded rather to the outside of the racetrack. Well, that's not exactly simulated in iRacing like it would be in real life, so it's not perfect, What it does do, though, is it cools your tires down. Is that right?
Yeah, it definitely can. Because there's just, a little bit more balance in the car up there compared to the low line. And, and if anyone knows that, it's definitely going to be a Coke Series driver like Vicente.
Well, I think specifically it's because they're right now under caution, at least, there's less temperature up there on the track, right? So they're able to run up there where there's less track temp under caution. Now, under green is a whole different story, and you're absolutely right there. Under caution, these guys running up there, there's less track temp. It's almost like if you were to run through the grass, right? The grass is cooler. It would cool the tires down. So this is just a little bit cooler than if they were to run on the racing line. But here we go into the Geico restart zone and back green this time. The field's stacking up. One car in the wall. Hopefully rainwater got hit. Rainwater in the wall hard. Anderson down through the grass. This restart might be short-lived.
Everybody gathering up, keeping it straight. I don't know if iRacing's going to throw a yellow for that one.
Cautions are being left up to iRacing, I believe. No admin yellows is what I heard. So these guys are up to what iRacing decides to do as they work down the backstretch. Noah Rainwater all the way back to 7th on this restart. He's got a lot of work to do and only a lap and change to do it as we're about to come around and take the white flag in heat number 2. There is a race for second, though. Cody Vaughn and Quentin Lee as they cross the start-finish line, this time to take the white flag.
Yeah, and Rainwater, I can't imagine, is thrilled about that restart. Definitely see him queuing up in the chat here. Definitely letting, I would imagine, some frustration out about that one.
I believe it was Lee who got in the back of Rainwater there on the restart. Regardless, though, Vicente Salas going to lead us down to turn number 3. And since the transfer is of no real concern, all eyes are up on car number 11 out of turn number 4. He is going to win heat race number 2 and start from the outside row. That's a big deal. And runs the fastest lap of the race to do it. Can you believe it?
I can believe it with a guy as talented as him. Textbook driving. Absolutely textbook.
Jonathan Platt gives him a nod of approval. Oh, they're crashing it up. That, I think, is just congratulatory stuff there at the end of it. But you see, a bit of a warm-up session now, and what has also happened is a bit of time has been advanced, so weather conditions are changing a little bit. We can take a look at those weather conditions now. It has cooled down a bunch on the racetrack. It was in the 100s before, and it's now down to 98 degrees here. How big of a difference does that make, Nathan, as we get ready to go racing?
I think certainly on corner exit for sure. This thing runs tight on entry and then apex off. It is definitely loose if you put too much into it. And, the cooler temps will definitely keep the rear tires under them that much more. Hopefully, promote some long runs here and really figure out what guys have over, 20, 30 laps.
So for those of you watching over on YouTube right now, the donation link is pinned in the chat. You can also see it at the top right of your screen. Go on Venmo and donate if you're able to Luke's Playhouse. And again, if I just read from the story that was provided to us, our goal is to provide individuals, including adults, children, and veterans with disabilities or chronic health conditions, a place where they can receive aquatic therapy by a licensed physical therapist and the use of a full-size gymnasium for special needs sporting events at little to no cost. Our son Luke was born with spina bifida in 2009, which has forever changed their lives in a positive way. Luke is full of energy and enjoys traveling, meeting new people, attending contemporary Christian concerts, and conversing with others. He loves to share his journey with others to show that just because you have a disability does not mean you can't do something. And if that isn't inspiring, I don't know what is. And this story has completely taken me aback. Nathan, I think when you learned about it, you sent me a text about the same thing pretty much. Completely taken me aback. It shocked myself and my fiance even. It just how inspiring it is that Luke wants to give back and his brother Noah wants to put on this event to help the cause for Luke's Playhouse. This whole thing, it really It gets me emotional, man, and it's difficult to talk about because it is just so powerful to talk about. Chokes me up a little bit, makes me stutter over some words. It's just such a cool thing that Luke is doing. And Luke, again, thank you for having us, you and Noah for having us, for the whole Rainwater family for having us for this event. This is a pleasure, this is a privilege to be able to do this broadcast and join you guys for this kind of event.
Absolutely, Andrew. And yeah, I mean, in learning more and more about Luke, you know, going into this event, I mean, just an incredible character. I mean, words certainly don't say enough. And you know, the determination that he has to continue forward the way that he is incredibly impactful. I mean, definitely something we can all take away from that.
Well, thanks for tuning in. If you're hearing our voices, you have obviously tuned in to this point. We appreciate it. You can follow along with our social media channels as well. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X, all there at the bottom of the screen. It is a pleasure to have you watching along this evening for what is going to be a very powerful race. And again, it's all to raise some money for Luke's Playhouse. And you know what? Let's see if we can bug Noah. I know he just got caught up in that incident. Let's see if I can find him, first of all, in the Discord chat. There we go. And see if we can't talk with him really quickly and see if there's any kind of update to the total. And we're going to grab Noah Rainwater. And Noah, as we get ready to go racing in just about a minute and change, you told us earlier that donation totals were up to about $1,000. Do you have any kind of update there? And can you explain to our viewers exactly what their money is going to?
I do not have an update yet due to the owner of the Venmo account is at the hospital with Luke. But last time I checked, we were just right over $1,000. And the money will go towards Luke's Playhouse Foundation, which will help raise money for him to be able to build an aquatic center where kids with disabilities can come play sports like basketball, baseball, tennis, where they can come do therapy like water therapy in the pool, where they can have physical therapy, where they can meet with music therapists and whatnot. That's their goal, to be able to build that for kind of like a YMCA, but with kids with special needs.
That line specifically, like a YMCA, like their own YMCA, that has always struck me when hearing the story, reading the story. Noah, thank you for your time. I'll let you get back to it and get racing here in just a few. Best of luck.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll send him back down to the group he was chatting with, but it does sound like maybe Luke has gone back to the hospital locally here in North Carolina, and it's unfortunate. He was actually in the hospital earlier this week and had emergency brain surgery and has gone through it, but I think he's having a bit of a rough night. So Luke, we're with you, buddy, and hopefully you are back at home very soon watching this broadcast. That's all we can hope for. That you can enjoy this broadcast, enjoy the evening with us for Luke's Playhouse 200. Again, thank you for joining us. This is a special event put on by Noah Rainwater and Company, and we are about to go green flag racing. Of course, this event brought to you by Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym, by Pine Golf, and by Whiplash Sim Cams. As we get ready to go racing this evening, Nick Leitz is going to lead us to the green flag, but let's meet the entire field here of 39 drivers about to take off and go racing. Nick Leitz out front, Vicente Salas from second. Third place, it'll be Caden Honeycutt. Fourth, Quentin Lee. Fifth place, Joseph Mealy. Matthew Ponte rolls off from the sixth spot. Row number 4, it's Thomas Aaron and Cody Vaughn. And finally, at the back end of the top 10, Austin McColgan and Jonathan Platt.
And that leads us to Colin Gardner in the 11th position, James Watson in the 12th. Oh, Hunter Hughes in the 18, and 14th, Evan Gilbert in the 22. Justin Clapper on the inside in the 15th position with Gregory Shepsis in the 27th and 16th. 17th, Andrew Keisler, and the 18th position, Chase Leahy, 34. And the inside 19th position, Christian Light in the 23, and P20, Corey Moore.
We'll let the rest play by as the rest of the field lines up and gets ready to go racing. There you see Noah Rainwater, so a few highlights throughout the field. Even Sam King, I feel like, is highlight at the back end of the grid here. Jonathan Platt, it looks like, is going to the rear of the field. You see him slowing down. He might not be the only one taking an EOL. Want to take a look at weather conditions again before we go racing. 79.8 degrees in the air, 98 on the track, and even Vicente Salas is going to the rear of the field, so the field changing up a little bit, as I believe we're going to have a couple of laps before we go green flag racing. I can't imagine we're going this time by, but just in case we are, yeah, no, pace car will stay on the racetrack. Well, that gives us an extra moment to think about this race and think about how this is all going to shake out here, Nathan. Whiplash SimCam's race details, bottom right of the screen, 100-lap race, 4 total sets of tires, 1 on the car, 3 in the pits, cautions do count, and 1 fast repair. Can you imagine what's going through these drivers' heads right now, 100 laps up ahead?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got their work cut out for them. I mean, you could probably make it in 3-ish pit stops, or 2 rather, excuse me, and if a little bit of fuel management there with the draft and the tow. So, I mean, you wonder if we get a long run and this stays green long term, if guys are going to start thinking about saving, clutching, shutting the car off, you name it, to save every ounce they can.
I think fuel saving is definitely going to be on these drivers' minds, and probably already is. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a handful of them already putting the clutch in, saving fuel here, trying to go to the end with as much fuel as possible. And it's always a challenge, especially in these cars, to save that fuel, to be off throttle and not lose time. You mentioned keeping momentum, to be off throttle as much as possible to save fuel, but also be on throttle as much as possible to keep up. That's going to be a very difficult balance for these drivers to work out, and it's exciting that we're able to join these guys for this trip this evening. Once again, you'll notice a few duplicate car numbers out there. We'll work through it as best as we can. Some different car numbers on the cars versus what you'll see on the ticker, but that's okay, as Nick Leitz is getting ready to lead us to the green flag this evening for Luke's Playhouse 200. Into the Geico restart zone we'll go. And to turn things over to Nick Leitz, green flag is in the air for the Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym 200.
Gosh, we're already 4 or 5 wide in the back of the field, jockeying for every position we can get.
Look at everybody spread out across the entire racetrack, out of the corner and down the back straightaway. Look at them, 2, 3, 4 abreast down the back stretch. Caden Honeycutt, Vicente Salas, Jonathan Platt, and other stars coming from the very rear of the field. But up front, Nick Leitz, a NASCAR Xfinity Series driver, leading us around and is going to bring us around to complete lap number 1 out front. So a big start for car 24. Caution, though, out on the racetrack. Shea Will's in trouble, it looks like. Car number 07. It's a
Looks
quick
reasonably
way.
clean. Glad we got a rolling again. It looks like relatively undamaged.
It's a quick way to hold us up, unfortunately. Here's a look at Shea Will's lap from turn 3 back around to the start-finish where this happens. Honeycutt was loose right ahead of Shea, and then Shea down onto the apron trying to get back on the racetrack, just threw the car into a bit of a tizzy, as I say, and got loose, gets up into the outside wall, and then down into the grass.
For nosing it in at that speed, I gotta say, relatively little damage. Surprised.
Yeah, I very much am surprised as well. This is a little more of the lap for the driver out of New Jersey. Honeycutt went down to the very bottom of the track. On the outside there is Caden Lapsevich. So Lapsevich having a better start already than in Heat 2. And with all these pro drivers around and one of them getting loose out ahead, yeah, I would get loose too, honestly, Shea, so it's okay, as Shea noses it there into the outside wall and goes for a bit of a spin cycle. That's okay. That happens in these kinds of races, especially with cold tires trying to get up to speed. Tell you what, those tires aren't so cold anymore.
No, certainly not. And you know, if you're gonna get one of them out of the way now, is certainly now the time to do it. You got plenty of racing left to go to pick off any other positions. So
Shea will get back on the racetrack, it looks like, after a quick run through the pit lane, and might have missed Shea's box, actually. Might have missed their box, considering there's no box time there. I can't imagine it's easy when there's 40 cars on the racetrack to get your exact box down the first time. I'd imagine it's pretty difficult, actually, to figure out exactly where you need to be on the pit lane, but Nick Leeds leading us under caution. As a driver here, Nathan, of course, that's kind of your role this evening, right? You're the driver guy, I'm the broadcast guy. As a driver, how frustrating is it to have that caution right away as soon as you're ready to go racing and get all the shakes out and everything, and you're about to go, and then caution flag, lap 1?
it can be tough because I know we've been talking about it a little bit, like getting that momentum going and getting into a rhythm. That can be so crucial. Just being consistent in and out of the corners, lap after lap. That's, you know, really what you want to try to focus on here. And, you know, especially the guys up front, like you get a good jump, you get a good spot, you get in line, feel good about where you're running, and then all of a sudden to have that come out, it's like, all right, now we got to bunch it back up, and there's a chance to be in there with the squirrels again, as they say.
With the squirrels. Well, I want to give a big nod to all of our partners with the channel, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, and CC's Business, allowing us to get to and from the virtual racetrack each and every time we're live. Without them, these broadcasts simply would not be possible. To the field pacing around under caution, and unfortunately, this has been a little bit of a theme to get started. Caution flags kind of dotted in here and there amongst heats 1 and 2 and now into the race. You have 40 guys who are showing up for this event from all kinds of different backgrounds. It's difficult to get everybody on the same page from the get-go, but I know there's race control working their magic trying to get these guys to settle in, settle down, and go racing. It's a difficult thing to do, especially when with the sun beating down on this racetrack, making it even more difficult to get around.
Oh, for sure. And the temperature changes too as the sun's going down is going to, you know, change the dynamics of how this car wants to run around here. And you wonder too, I mean, if we're going to end up seeing potentially single file restart perhaps. I mean, we did see that in the second heat. I don't know if that'll be implemented or not in the main.
Yeah, you know, we saw that pretty quick, actually. I didn't expect to see that from just the one caution in Heat 2. But we did see that pretty quickly. I guess that was a response to Heat 1 and maybe the amount of laps left. So that might have been it. Maybe the amount of laps left there in Heat 2. But that single file restart is something to keep our eyes on as this day goes on. And, you know, we talk about saving fuel as well before the green flag even dropped. How much does this help these guys who are trying to save fuel and hit a certain fuel number to make their strategy work?
Oh, believe me, Andrew, those guys are thanking the racing gods a little bit because every lap counts, every ounce counts. So
every drop in the tank as you see Caden Lapsevich catching back up to the field, ready to go back and get back after it. Had a solid start to the race for himself, but would like to do it all over again and get something more out of it this time. The iRacing.com safety car will head back down to the relative safety of pit lane. Nick Leeds out front, Joseph Mealy second. Green flag is back in the air at Auto Club. Couple of cars way down to the apron, but otherwise everybody orderly down to the first corner this time. That is what you like to see. On board with Nick Leeds out front. Here comes the one car. Matthew Pontia run through the corner.
and it's almost preferred to be kind of that second car sometimes because you get to see what the leader's doing, what you're not doing, to adjust your strategy accordingly.
Ponte on the outside through through 3 and 4. Joseph Mealy down low, losing that spot, and everybody's bobbling here, bobbling there as this first lap will go complete. A look through the entire field as they pass by our speed shot.
Such a fantastic look. You're going to seriously miss this track in real life with the ability to run 5.5 4 wide like that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be missed. As look at them through the corner, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes. Look at that in the very back of the field. I mean, I think they were 5 wide for a second. That was incredible. You don't see 5 wide anywhere, even Talladega. So to be able to do that here through the corner is incredible. Up front, a single file line for your top 5. Ponte second, and look who's now third, Cody Vaughn, rather. Getting the Codys and Corys mixed up. Cody Vaughn in the third position as Honeycutt goes fastest. Vaughn moving forward in that Ghost Jeff Gordon paint scheme.
Good looking paint. Definitely gonna be hot in that cockpit, but that is a hot car for sure.
The inside of the Ross Chastain look-alike. Vaughn working the inside lane, using the draft there from Leeds up ahead, but it's difficult. When you go down to the corner, you don't want to have a car ahead of you, right? You don't want to have that car blocking the air getting to your nose. You need that air to make downforce, so that car ahead sometimes a detriment through the corners, and this time you see Cody adjusting, running higher up the racetrack now that he's able to. Ponte went way up there as they work 4th gear through turns 1 and 2. And here comes Joseph Mealy, rather, in that 39 car. There's 2 39 cars. There's Mealy, and then there's Watson, both running a 39 on the sides of their cars.
I think the 61, too, actually gave a little bit of a check to the one. In turn 1 and
right
2
there, Ponte gonna get the wall. Problems for Ponte. He's fallen back now to the 5th spot. And will sink a little bit more, it looks like, through turns 1 and 2 as he'll fall down to the 6th position. Hunter Hughes moves up. Hunter's got a big center punch to the nose of that car, but is not letting it hold him back by much, that's for sure.
Definitely want to stay close behind the guys in front of the straights as much as you can to maximize that draft.
One car up the racetrack, that was Gregory Shepsis, I believe, or was that? It was actually Clapper that went to the bottom and then up the racetrack with the 63 car. The sun is messing with it, messing with me anyway. The sun being so bright in turn 3 and 4 and casting that glow down the racetrack. It's messing with me a little bit, but it illuminates these guys at a turn 2 really nicely right in the sun as Leeds gets away to now a 3/10 lead out front.
Yeah, this is just what Leeds and Vaughn want to be seeing, honestly, is all this battling going on behind them, because now they kind of get to settle in and do their thing and just focus on saving their stuff.
I think Leeds actually had to pedal it there, so Vaughn is catching up, now looking to the inside of the Harpoon Design 15, and a big block from Leeds there holds Cody Vaughn at bay, but that's going to allow these guys to start catching up a little bit. If they get racing like that, and especially if there's another block or two from Leeds to hold Vaughn at bay, we could absolutely see Mealy and Watson catch up and make this a 4-car race. Oh, big block there, all the way to the inside lane. That was a big-time block from Leeds all the way to the bottom, all the way to the apron. I think we'll see one more here. This time, no, actually, no block from Leeds. He'll stay up high. Cody Vaughn works the bottom. Whoa, hello. These guys are aggressive.
Yeah, we definitely don't need a Chase Kyle Larson situation on our hands here on lap 13. And it looks like the 61 makes the pass cleanly.
Leeds, though, going to try and come back by, so a lead change for a moment, but Leeds has the power on the outside lane. Goes right back by as Matthew Ponte is back into the top 5 and brought Shepsis along with. A little bit of a battle into the corner. I see Clapper racing, and here is Caden Honeycutt. My gosh, he's already back into the top 10.
Unbelievable ability, just able to put the car exactly where he needs to put it, just to be able to maximize every corner possible, take every run.
It's unbelievable how far he's come on the iRacing.com sim to be this dang good. I remember when he was much younger and much different on iRacing, and he has made one heck of a rise to fame here on iRacing and in the real world, racing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the NASCAR Xfinity Series for that matter. He's got some Xfinity starts under his belt. He's going to go high, wide, and handsome this time in turn 3 as he works on Clapper for the 7th spot. And he's going to go right on by Clapper on corner exit. That was a beautiful setup.
Made him look like he was standing still there off the corner.
That was incredible. Honeycutt going to work the bottom now as Clapper blinks a little bit. Up front, Cody Vaughn hangs on to the race lead. Nick Leeds second, Mealy third. And Clapper, man, as soon as he got past, it was like, let's hit the Christmas tree button. Down to the bottom, though, here comes Mealy in the 39 car.
Certainly been there before, Andrew. It's not a place you'd like to hear. Certainly not something you want to hear over the radio. Everybody talking about blinking or anything like that. You don't want to mess up anyone's race as well as your own stuff.
Yeah, we've seen your fair share of blinking in the Icon Cup Series. I'm glad it's been better lately, and I'll knock on wood for you. Don't worry.
Appreciate that.
Glad it's taken a turn as of late, but up front, a 3-car battle. Matthew Ponte kind of leading this next little group with Gregory Shepsis and Caden Honeycutt in tow. Justin Clapper, Evan Gilbert. This is the back end of the top 10. Victor Pfluger there in the 80. And look at this racing. 2, 3, 4 wide through turns 3 and 4. This is where the good stuff's at. A little bit of contact here, a little bit of contact there as they work down the front stretch.
Again, trying to take everything they can while the tires are still under them, because it's so difficult to set up the passes as the run goes on once everybody gets on even playing field.
Sam King in the middle going backwards. A little bit of contact there with Christian Light in the 96. And they're 3 wide off the corner with Noah Rainwater in the middle. Jackson Anderson approaching. And that is Chase Leahy up top. And Vicente Salas has got one heck of a view for it all. Vicente back here working in the 15th spot, it looks like. 14th now.
Yeah, and it begs the question. You wonder how much he's managing his stuff right now to make sure that he has something in those tires for another, 15, 20 laps from now. Just to make sure that he doesn't burn them up too quickly here.
Rainwater powers back by. Salas just kind of lets that happen. Rainwater goes to the inside and is going to look for, I believe, the 12th spot into turn 3. Meanwhile, up front, there has been a battle for the race lead these last couple of laps. Cody Vaughn leading the race across the stripe this time, but it's not always been that way. Nick Leitz has been swapping the lead with him, and now here comes Mealy up top. So a very solid race for the race lead, and here comes that neon yellow 8-car, Honeycutt, into 6th and working the bottom side. Pulls up on the Team Watson Racing setups machine of James Watson, and it's going to go right on by, and James jumps out of the gas and lets Caden have it. You can see again swapping for the lead out ahead. Mealy this time going to the point. Cody Vaughn going to have to get back on the loud pedal and go back by, actually. So Vaughn back to position 1, and Leitz into 2nd. Mealy 3rd. Honeycutt now to 4th.
Yeah, that 8's coming with a head of steam, and the 39 thought better of it and just backed down to say, hey, I'll let you go, buddy. We'll hopefully see you later. A couple more laps here.
It's like one lap. We're talking about Honeycutt being in the top 10. The next lap he's in the top 5. The next lap, here he is in the top 3. Unbelievable what this guy has for speed. And Honeycutt is going to work kind of the middle, bottom of the racetrack. Now gets all the way down to the bottom. Right behind Nick Leitz through the corner. Clearly that's the way to go. So if you're running up high, maybe you got to rethink that a little bit. If you're Cody Vaughn, do you want to try and get to the bottom side of the track? Honeycutt with an advantage here is going to draft up, put it 3 wide. Here he goes, right in between the two of them. For the race lead on lap 21, he went to the rear to start this race. We even had a caution to slow him down. But Caden Honeycutt has brought the fight to Nick Leitz in the 15 car, and in turns 3 and 4, here he goes to the very outside of the racetrack. This is for the race lead. Can he get the run off the corner and get to position 1? The answer is yes. Caden Honeycutt is going to take over on lap 21.
My gosh. Yeah, I don't want to speak too soon, but if he brings that thing to victory lane, they're going to definitely be taking that to the R&D center.
That thing is definitely getting posted in tech for sure. Yeah, they're going to want to tear that thing down. He works the bottom and just drives away from these guys. He is so smooth, so perfect right now. He is just putting it on a clinic. Now, Vicente Salas has been strong on his own right as well. Vicente is up to the 9th spot, and if you look at his repertoire for the day, down as low as 30th spot. That was after coming across the stripe in 30th after going to the rear for the start of the race. So he has had a very similar day, is up now into this 9th position. And I know it says as high as 2nd because he started there technically, but he started from the rear of the field. He took that EOL and it's had to claw back through. So a really strong day for this eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series driver. And less than a quarter way through, he's into the top 10 and looking closely at that top 5.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm going to be really curious to see how much the lap times change between him and the 35 of Honeycutt, or the 8, excuse me. Just with, we saw Hayden, come with a full head of steam up to the field, and now I'm wondering if Vicente kind of managed his tires that much more, and if he'll have time to close down the difference here by the time we hit our first fuel cycle.
Salas works on the outside now of Evan Gilbert. This is for 7th position. You mentioned a fuel cycle. These guys have to be coming up on it soon, right? I'd imagine probably around lap 40 or so is when we start to think about fuel.
Yeah, I would say with the caution thrown in, definitely guys who have been pushing, late 30s, early 40s, and then guys who are really, really trying to save, probably maybe mid 40s even, if they've really been proactive with it.
So this turns into kind of a 2-stop race at this point as Cody Vaughn has a problem and slides back here now to James Watson and Matthew Ponte. So Vaughn, who was challenging and leading in this race a little bit ago, down to the 6th spot with Vicente Salas charging on the inside. And James Watson there on the outside. Salas going to take a 2-for-1 special all the way down low. And Gilbert is going to take a ride down onto the apron, get back onto the racetrack. But Gilbert going to fall out of the top 10. And Salas.
You just hate when those moments happen. You just got to try to recenter yourself as much as you can, not overthink it. Just get back into a rhythm and start putting those lap times back down again.
Vicente breaks into the top 10 or top 5 now. 5th place is working on Matthew Ponte for 4th. And you see that battle ahead between Mealy and Leeds. It has not let up at all. These two have been on each other. And I wonder how much they're fighting and how much they're working together at this point. 2 green cars. Of course, there is that superstition in racing as Salas clears for 4th. Do they want to fight? Do they want to work together? I think they want to work together right now as you've got a pro driver ahead and a pro driver behind.
Yeah, you got to figure something out because obviously running side by side, that's the slowest way, bar none, around the track. So, and they got the loose Chevy alliance perhaps. So we'll see if they get tandem here at some point.
Might already be trying to work on it, quite honestly. You see them in perfect tandem. Caution! More around on the front stretch, the 84 car. And he'll get back rolling after swatting some flies inside the cockpit. Gonna look on board of him racing with Sam King there down the backstretch. So Moore makes the pass on the inside, I guess. Looks like it anyways. Sam King comes down on the door of the 84 car. And what happens here to Moore? Just gets loose. Just for a slide.
Yeah, once that transition to the bank, at the bottom of the bank, and that's pretty much it.
A really impressive run out of the entire field there to go with that long green flag, and then you hate to see that just one little slide out of Corey Moore is all it takes to give us a caution flag, but you see just down onto the apron, transition, got the car loose, and slides to a stop, and that's it. Caution's out.
It's interesting. It's granted, I know iRacing's doing the race control here, but it's almost a tale of 2 race control directors with the lack of yellow in the heat race there, but something like that we get a yellow. So.
Well, on board is Steven Lashinsky, and you're right. We had a couple of incidents. I mean, we had Caden Lapcevich absolutely destroyed on the backstretch, but nobody was approaching, and we had no caution for it. Then here we have a little bit of a slide and spin back up onto the racetrack ever so slightly, and it's a caution immediately. There you see the spin from Lashinsky's perspective. And that'll do it for the first quarter of the race. Now working a lap 28. Do we see pit stops this caution? Yes, look at that.
Oh yeah, you gotta come. You gotta come now. There's no way you can stay out at this point. You're gonna need the fuel regardless, so might as well take 4.
So everybody coming on in. You see Noah Rainwater out of the top 10 making a pit stop. Everybody has to come in and take some kind of service here. 4 tires and fuel, I think, all the way around for sure.
Absolutely, and I will say too. I mean, it does appear as though it's pretty textbook in terms of just pulling into the box, stopping the car. But with the track and the temps up and the concrete pads, it definitely this car wants to slide a little bit. You got to be careful not to overshoot it.
So you see the field working out of the pit lane, all going by the pit exit line. Hayden Honeycutt, first car back onto the racetrack. Surprise, surprise. Of course, he had the lead going into that caution. Nick leads second. Vicente Salas now third. Matthew Ponte falls back. And the other part of that fight up front was Joseph Mealy. He was racing for second. He's going to come out of this thing 10th, it looks like, although Sam King does stay out. And I'd imagine Sam will pit this time by. Kind of surprised Sam went for the lap lead. Or is he truly staying out?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the advantage would be here for the 7 Camaro to do this right now at this stage of the race.
I think he's going to stay out. No, yeah, there
Nope.
was no way. So Sam King will come down to the pit lane and take service, and that will move everybody up 1 spot. There is a lapped car there waiting to get back by, and it looks like that is potentially... Well, there's Logan Joyle going by in the number 6 car. And Stacy... No, it wasn't Stacy Hunter. Who was that? That was Scott Romano. That'll do it. Scott Romano going back ahead of the pace car.
No relation to Ray, I would imagine. And, if the 7 machine wanted, I know there's no points in this race necessarily. We're doing this for a good cause for Luke and the Playhouse. But I don't know. I mean, maybe he just, wanted to get some screen time, and that's a surefire way of doing it.
That is one way to get some screen time for sure. Here's Caden Lapcevich getting some screen time. Of course, not eNASCAR. Well, he is an eNASCAR star, I believe, in the Road to Pro side. But Caden, I believe... Caden and Trayton both have run a bunch of NASCAR Pinty Series races and seasons, and I gotta get my accolades straight, who's won a championship and who hasn't. I think they might have both at this point, but Caden and Trayton Lapcevich, a couple of brothers out of Canada that are really tearing things up on the NASCAR Canada side of things. And it's exciting to have Caden in the field with us this evening, considering his growing list of accolades and his resume. So another driver adding some star power here as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing. 30 laps will be complete. That leaves 70 to go out of 100. Green flag back in the air. Through turns 1 and 2, Caden Honeycutt with the advantage. 4 tires and fuel now for everybody out there. And Vicente Salas clear for second. Nick Leeds, though, going to fight back. Crash in the back, and it's Sam King.
Broadcast just curse, Andrew? I don't know. Very well could be.
And we were just talking about this guy staying out for a big portion of that caution. And now contact with the lap car of Joyle. Just a quick spin, though, into the wall. Nothing too crazy there for Sam King. Very light contact, all things considered.
Yeah, crunch the left rear quarter panel. I think we'll be able to get that fixed up. And unfortunate, too, because honestly, to me, this seems more netcode than anything else.
Yeah, a little bit of netcode there. Just tips the 7 around and a slide. Look at Jonathan Platt just miss it. And then boom, outside wall for King. Pretty light contact in the grand scheme of things. That's going to be, if any damage, pretty easily fixed in the pit lane, like you said. I want to see that from Platt's perspective, though. Here's the onboard, Jonathan Platt. Just working fourth gear. Car spun. Whoa, hello.
Oh, man, yeah, when those happen, you just put your foot to the floor and just pray, and you just like, please, please, please let me clear this before I get touched.
Like Scott Romano might even have a decent view of this. Here's the onboard here. Out of California, home race for Romano. And right around goes Sam King.
Bit of a tale of two wrecks. In that situation, you're really hoping, hey, just keep clearing up the track. I'm perfectly fine down here.
So the iRacing.com safety car lights will stay on. I mentioned this being a home race for Romano. This, at one point in time, would have been a home race for myself, claiming California as my home state initially. Independence, California, to be exact. Have been to a couple of races here, 2010, 2011, both of the spring races. Those couple of seasons, I believe Matt Kenseth went to victory lane in one, and I can't recall for the life of me who won the other one, but rain was a factor. Thankfully, no rain in sight for these guys today. The iRacing.com Tempest weather system doesn't exactly simulate rain yet for ovals, although you can trick the sim, but we'll forget about that for now. You can't get rain on ovals, we'll say, and thankfully, that means these guys can race today with no worry at all. You see just a few wisps of cloud around the speedway, and that's about it. Weather conditions, as we talked about earlier, track temp is down under 100 degrees, but it's still decently warm out there, an air temp of 78 degrees. That's not a hot day, but I would say a warm day, a pleasantly warm day.
Perfect evening for racing, like you were just saying, Andrew. And yeah, I can only imagine witnessing some races here in real life, being born and raised in New England myself.
Well, you know what? You were at a racetrack recently that I've been to as well, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. What was your weekend like?
Wet.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
No rain here, but that was a race weekend where there was a lot of rain, a deluge there during the race, and some rain racing. Wouldn't that be something to have a short track pop up here in Southern California and then go rain racing at Auto Club? Could you imagine?
Oh, we can only hope. We can hope. And last I heard from the construction news anyway is that the pylon is in fact still up, folks. The pylon still stands.
Yeah, the pylon's still there. Well, want to highlight one more time the upcoming broadcasts here for us at Pit Stop TV, just to look around what's coming up for us. Next up, we head out to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You'll be in that race, Nathan. Anything special we should watch out for?
I think slick, loose race cars. It's old Atlanta. Love that track. Eats tires like nobody's business, and a real true driver's track for sure. We should put on a good show.
Definitely going to be a fun one for the Icon Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. Had a fantastic race this past week at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Should be a lot of fun at Atlanta. Now, for those of you watching, again, there is that donate link. So if you're just tuning in, maybe haven't had a chance to hear us talk about it, there's that donate link that is pinned in the YouTube chat where you can donate to Luke's Playhouse and donate to the cause. We'll talk more about it again later on. A third of this race complete, 2/3 left to go into the Geico restart zone. Caden Honeycutt, Vicente Salas, your front row, a couple of roommates leading us back to the green.
Can't help but wonder if they're chirping each other on these cautions at all when they have the chance to.
Oh boy, I can only imagine. Nick Leitz, powerful on this restart, powers to the inside of Vicente Salas through the corner. See everybody spread out across the racetrack again. And Leitz slides in behind for third. Looks like a clean green restart. Rainwater, Mealy, Clapper, they're going to race off into the third turn. And Clapper and Rainwater nearly make some contact. One is in the wall. That's Quentin Lee in the 2 car. 1 lap off the restart complete.
And you really got to, with the field being this bunched up, you got to be able to pick your battles here and there. And sometimes you just got to lift out of stuff just for the better good of not only you, but everybody else in the field too.
Some big-time star power in this top 3. A NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver, a NASCAR Xfinity Series driver, and a NASCAR Home Track driver, NASCAR Regional driver there in Vicente Salas. And, of course, they all have their accolades here on the sim. But some really solid racing experience. Then you have Jackson Anderson up here in the 83 car working around the top side. Hello, Anderson, lap 36. He's back into the top 2.
Definitely an awesome feeling when you run up here with these guys who have some real seat experience, and it's like, all right, I can kind of hack it with these folks. It's a good feeling.
At least on the short run, and that's where there's the big separator, right? When you get onto a longer run with these guys, they just know how to save tires. So we'll see if Jackson Anderson can hang for the long run, or if it's just that short run speed. Regardless, you're right. It is nice. It is satisfying to be able to hang with these guys for any length of time. I know I couldn't. So maybe as well, maybe that comes into effect later on. Maybe Anderson can use that to his advantage and beat one of these guys to the start-finish line, as he nearly did that time. Yes, in fact, I think he led that lap by a slim margin. That was close.
I think you're right. I think he had it. This is definitely where you're taking your notes, getting some idea of where you want to be putting your car in these last lap situations in the event that we do get like a green-white checkered scenario or anything like that.
Pass for the lead. Jackson Anderson goes up and passes Caden Honeycutt. I didn't think I'd be saying that today. So Honeycutt back to the bottom side. Anderson way up top, using that momentum up there, that momentum that you talked about, using the very top side of the racetrack, carrying that speed around the corner and launching back down the straightaway. Works out for Anderson here as Matthew Ponce comes back up. Races with Noah Rainwater. Rainwater's got some speed here today. That 05 car has come through the field and is now working to get back into the top 5.
Yeah, and he's able to make that middle groove work really, really well. Better than we think we've seen anybody so far yet today. And running that top line, you start passing guys and you get some confidence and it feels good. And before you know it, though, compared to the guys running the bottom, you're definitely going to start burning up the right rear more. See
Rainwater slotting in line there. Honeycutt fighting back on Jackson Anderson side by side. They go across the stripe. I mean, there is just endless racing. That's why this place was so loved by fans right before it was closed. Rainwater sliding through the corner, hangs on to it. I think there was a shot there from Quentin Lee into turn 1, and Rainwater just hangs on to the race car. Contact right behind, though. Clapper and one other. That was Thomas Aaron, I think. Yes, it was.
Oof, some heavy damage, but I think everybody gathered that up.
That is some big damage for Thomas Aaron. He's going to come down and pit, it looks like, and you can see why. That is a lot of damage.
Yeah, that right front toe might really be in a bad spot now. Maybe even speeding onto pit road here. Yeah, he came in a little hot.
Nick leads Jackson Anderson controlling this race now as Honeycutt slips down to the 3rd spot. Things are a-changing out front. Leeds all of a sudden comes firing back at Anderson. Let's see what they do here in 3 and 4. Leeds down to the bottom, Anderson through the middle. Lap 41 going to go the way of Jackson Anderson. We get closer and closer to halfway. Trevor Zelazny has moved into the top 5. Remember, this is that guy who was on his lid lap 1 of heat 1. Made a pass, by the way, sliding on his lid at one point in that crash. Where did he start this race? Oh, just in last. 39th position, has raced into the top 5, and is going for a pass here on Vicente Salas. What a turnaround for Trevor Zelazny. What a race so far for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely turned around from the heat race, and I'm sure just biding his time, running a quiet race so far, which is kind of what you want to do at a track like this, where you have so much time still between now and the checkered flag.
One spinning, Christian Light, it looks like, turned around. Big hit. Unbelievable impact, and one car goes sliding through the grass. I think I know who it was. No, I don't know who it was. Who was that? Jonathan Platt. Oh my goodness.
He and the luck with the cautions might have finally run out there.
The 43 car on lap 43. Destroyed. And I don't know how, so we're going to find out. Christian Light was spun around up ahead, went for a slide there off the bottom of the racetrack. Platt goes low, never lifted, just clips Christian Light. Well, the NASCAR star spotter, I think, is going to learn to use a little bit of that a little bit less of that right foot, rather.
That's the tricky part here on the sim, Andrew, too, is like we were talking about, there's no real danger involved necessarily, and I think that ends up, in some ways, promoting people to maybe take a little bit more risk than they would if they were in, real life race car.
Well, and here's Christian Light going for the spin. There was a lot of smoke all over the racetrack, and even clips one car there. I think that was the 40. Platt, I'm sure, thought that Light was going to stay up the racetrack after that spin, even spin up there, and then Light was actually able to lock it down and then release the brake. We'll get a look here. So watch Light goes down the racetrack, slides, boom, into the 40 car, locks it down, and then releases the brake. And
ooh, yes. And
Light is thinking, I'm going to get off the racetrack. I'm going to get myself further out of harm's way, probably, I'd imagine. I'd imagine that's a thought going through his brain, which is not a bad thought at all, right? You're pointed to the grass, you're spinning, you want to get out of the way. I can't blame him at all for right here releasing the brake. Problem is, that makes it more difficult for anybody approaching to guess where your car is going to be. And while Platt very much should have lifted, you can see from Platt's perspective, we'll watch it again, you can see from his perspective that the car moved a little bit right at the last moment, and that hole he initially had went away quick.
Yeah, if there's any fans of the 43 team, I definitely recant that comment. And I took the words right out of my mouth, Andrew, with him just breaking the cardinal rule of just be predictable for other cars, and by releasing the brake, you're taking any chance away that happening.
Right here, that 96 is up the racetrack and then releases the brake, and Platt runs out of room. Boom, big hit, goes spinning through the grass, and unfortunately is a massive, likely day ender for Jonathan Platt and company. Although he does have a fast repair still in the bank. Look at that spin through the grass. That is graceful, just in a horrible way. You know what? One more replay, because I think this will be a cool view as well. You see Shea Wills there on the outside. Platt could have stayed up top, realistically, and probably been okay, but then boom.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, he would have had enough room to sneak by there, I think, if he just kept it locked up.
I was right. This
Landscapers
is a really
are
cool
not thrilled about that either, just ripping up the grass here before we get our winner today.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be torn up here whenever we get a burnout from whoever wins this race. Speaking of, there is our race leader, Jackson Anderson, as we get the 1 to green signal from the flag stand. And we'll be back racing this next time by. We're nearly halfway through this race. So we've had just about half the race complete and been able to watch this race develop a little bit. Do you have a pick yet for the end of this race?
I mean, I gotta give it to Luke. I think honestly, Caden and Vicente. I don't know how you really count them out. And Noah too. Noah and Rainwater's had some really good speed. Honestly, he's been able to make that middle groove work better than anybody else we've seen so far. So who knows? I mean, that could certainly play a role here as the race goes on towards the end.
Yeah, there you see Luke's picks for the race on the bottom of your screen. Really, really good picks. I think kind of a given with Caden Honeycutt and Vicente Salas and his brother Noah Rainwater, but you can't argue them at all. 3 really solid drivers already in this race. If I had to pick anybody that isn't in those 3, I think it'd be the front row right here. Jackson Anderson, Nick Leitz, kind of another gimme. They've been fast today. But also, there is a fan club building in the YouTube chat for this cat. Car 15, Alex Coffey. The Carpies Toyota Camry has got some fans out here on YouTube, and can't argue with that. If there's YouTube commenters voting for that car, I'd imagine he's got to be pretty good. Let's see what happens here on this restart. Coming to lap 47, green flag, back in the air. Big crash, hello. That's going to be a lot. The 61's in it, James Watson's in it. That's a big one.
Yeesh. Yeah.
Right back under caution.
A lot of crew chiefs throwing the headset down. A lot of guys packing up the boxes and jumping out of here.
They do have the one fast repair, but I think you're right. We're going to see some drivers out of the race as a result of this. They were checking up, coming to the green, and somebody didn't get going. It's the 27 car. Just went nowhere. That prompted a 3 wide. Hunter Hughes going to tip the 39 of Watson around, and they all just pile in and collect it. Oh my gosh. You see one car go down and hit the inside wall. It's like Indianapolis last week, where one car hits the inside and ricochets back up in front.
Yeah, and you hate to see that because it's just so, as much as the guy that's trying to mitigate the risk as much as possible, there's just nothing to do. You're just along the ride there.
Rainwater just about got through without a problem, but gets a little bit of damage there to the right side. Nothing that can't be fixed on this next-gen car. Honestly...
No, Lego pieces will go back together again, for sure. I mean, that was incredible driving through there.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you consider the view he had, that's a really lucky miss. We'll watch it one more time here from the in-car. The in-helmet view. And that 27 was Gregory Shepsis that went nowhere on the restart. But here's Rainwater's perspective. Through the field, through the melee. We'll slow it down. See Sam King spinning. There's the 3 car. Checks back to the right. Drifts a little bit. Just misses that car coming back off the inside wall. What a clutch move that was. And he got a couple of hits there, but if we back this up, I hate rewinding, but we'll do it in this case. If we back this up, look at how close he is to getting hit by this car that ricochets. Car off the inside wall right about here is going to make contact and ricochet back up. That's the 61 of Cody Vaughn, actually. And look how close Rainwater was to being in that.
I mean, this is just an action movie trailer.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable is right.
Again, Luke with the amazing picks. I think honestly, he knows something we don't, clearly.
Here we go, on board with Cody Vaughn. He's going to have a front row seat to Hunter Hughes turning the 39 car. And Vaughn's going to get hit from behind, shoved up into it. And then, boom, concrete wall, back up the racetrack. Lots of big hits. And you hate to see that for Vaughn, who was leading this race, I believe, at one point, right?
Yeah, that Gordon scheme definitely, he had some serious speed in that ghost paint, and unfortunate to see that car destroyed now.
Shepsis here on the start, just didn't get going. The 18 of Hughes was in it big time. Only because he turned the guy. He actually doesn't get much damage out of that at all. He gets away pretty scot-free.
And that's unfortunately the way racing luck tends to go most times. The guy who caused the domino effect that pushes the first one down typically gets out of that deal.
Let's see. Let's get one more replay from somebody who's watching it all unfold towards the back here. This is alongside Noah Rainwater, Caden Lapsovich. Ooh, hello. Trying to get through this mess. And the seas just parted. Wow.
Unbelievable. Yep.
Even there. Hello. That's crazy. That's crazy.
being in those moments, Andrew, you just kind of sit back and you just think, you know, people, oh, how'd you get through that? And you're like, I can't even answer that. I don't even know.
That's impressive. Here's Lapsvich's view from the drones around the racetrack. Just everything parting way. Here comes the 71, making contact there, and he has a car bouncing at him.
Amazing patience, too. Don't let that go unsaid by the 30 there. Just great poise to just wait for the holes to open up, to try to just point the nose and just shoot the gap as much as you can.
Here we go. Perfect timing back to the field as we've got the 1 to green signal. We're back racing this next time around. Right with 50 laps to complete, 50 laps to go. The field is getting back organized. A few cars now out of this race, but that's okay. We've still got 33 of them ready to go back. Green flag racing into the back half now at California. Green flag is back in the air for Jackson Anderson in the Luke's Playhouse 200. Honeycutt way to the inside of the racetrack. Big move there for the 8 car. 4 wide through turns 1 and 2.
Watch that 23. Should have a good run here. Oh, he kind of got bottled up. Oh, but Vicente diving to the bottom.
Vicente Salas breaking the draft all the way down, all the way back up. Attic, basement, attic. And back to the basement down in 3 and 4. Side by side, 3 wide for second. The 23 gets clear. That's Trevor Zelazny. The last to first challenge is very much alive for Zelazny. Caution's out. Noah Rainwater in the pit lane. James Watson goes for a spin. Well, what happened here?
You wonder if some of those people just kind of scattered and dove pit road to try to avoid the melee. We'll see.
So Watson there in the red and gold 39 car got loose, got tipped by 1. Oh, Rainwater was coming in maybe to serve a penalty.
And just another racing gift from the gods for him to be able to get that penalty served now, because as long as he hit the line before the yellow came, he'll be able to serve it and not lose a lap.
That was Ponte, the 1 car who went sliding through the grass. Was that Sam King? I think that was Sam King that was in that with the 39 car, and it was. So on board from King, you see Watson up ahead on the top side, Ponte down low. A couple of cars that were up front earlier going sliding. That's unfortunate, especially for Ponte.
Yeah, that 1 Camaro Busch Light has had some serious speed, and you see that frequently off a 2 and off a 4 here. Is just, you know, all these different cars going for the same real estate in the racetrack at the same time, and just running a room.
So Ponte heads down, and I think is going to come in for some service. Started towards the front of the field, so we'll have a pit stall all the way down here towards the end. Mentioned some cars now out of this race. Let's take inventory of who is out of this thing. Shane Huffman is out, 22 laps down. Scott Romano is out of this thing. Jonathan Platt is 10 laps down, currently off the racetrack. Austin McColgan's out of this race. Cody Vaughn on the pit lane, out of this race at the moment. Stacy Hunter is out of the race. Logan Joyle is 1 lap down in 33rd, and the last car that is still remaining in this Luke's Playhouse 200. So hoping to see Joyle move up the field here at some point. Next car ahead is going to be James Watson right now in the pit lane. It was previously Thomas Aaron, who I believe is getting the lucky dog here and catching up to the field. And Aaron, man, he was in that that crash a little while ago, I believe under green. Remember, he was hit. Who was he hit by? I forget now.
Yeah, I know he got into it in the backstretch, and he was the one that had to come down under the green flag. And yeah, now you know, all things are in play for him again. And Joyle, you know, you hope to see the same thing. All things considered, with as many wrecks we've had, it's plenty of cars still left in this field.
So Aaron pulls back up to the field. Matthew Ponte is going to fly back around here in the 1 car. There he is. James Watson will do the same. And Logan Joyle will stay one lap down. Up front, Vicente Salas going to lead us back to the green flag. Look at that Flem Dogs 23 car. Trevor Zelazny, I cannot talk about this guy enough. Started dead last. Was on his roof in that crash on lap 1 of Heat 1. And here he is, lap 54, going to come to the green flag, second place. I mean, how do you turn that kind of day around?
You know, if anyone's going to do it, I'm not surprised it's Trevor. I've actually raced with Trevor in a league, a couple years ago now. But yeah, real solid wheelman. Definitely knows how to get a car around a track.
I think he just commented over on YouTube. Trevor23Z, rolling. Well, best of luck to him on this restart. I see Kayla earlier asked about who is watching from where. If you're hearing our voices, let us know where you're watching from this evening as we get ready to go back green flag racing just on the far side of halfway now. Vicente Salas, Trevor Zelazny, your front row, waiting on the green flag at Auto Club once again, and we are back to green flag racing. Zelazny caught sleeping on the restart, one spinning again. I think that's the 22 car of Gilbert, and it is. We stay green, 4 wide through the corner. Justin Clapper way down low. Honeycutt slides back in line. Jackson Anderson and Trevor Zelazny side by side for second. Another spinner off the backstretch. Caution that time. That one's Michael Klein.
And that 20 car might be giving the 43 pit box a little bit of a gift right now after him being in the vicinity, close enough anyway to get the yellow to throw.
Yeah, that really helps the 22 car who spun on the front stretch there. Let's see, where's the 22 of Gilbert? Oh.
Just took off on him.
I'm not sure how that happens unless that's a missed shift.
That, or if I had to take a guess, I don't know, in terms of tires or where he's at tire-wise, certainly it'll step. Oh, big misshift, you're right.
Big misshift. Second to first does not usually work out when you're trying to accelerate. And then problems for Klein here out of the corner. Racing with James Watson there on the outside. Klein just got loose, tried to catch it, goes back left, and goes for a spin.
See a lot of guys just on the edge of gathering it up, but then end up running out of real estate. And once you hit that transition to the apron, it just... good luck, it's gone.
Well, we got a few out there commenting as one car dives to pit lane. That's Jackson Anderson. Whoa, hello. He must feel like this is his fuel number to go to the end, especially if he's banking on some cautions.
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say too. I'm wondering if there's, some people thinking about strategy-wise, if I start to switch it up, it's like, all right, I might not maybe have as much pace as the Vicentes and the Cadens and so on and so forth, but, if I maybe switch up the strategy and things fall my way, it can certainly put me in a good position late.
Driver out of Texas, gonna look for this to be his money stop. Well, best of luck to him. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it works out for him.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, being 43, close to 40 by the time we get going racing again. Could you make it? No, but could you make it if there's another couple yellows? Yeah, Brad K, last week he almost made it work. We'll see what happens for him.
And that might be the line of thinking there, is to do what the NASCAR guys have been doing lately, bank on a couple more cautions, and you're probably going to get them. Try to be the first in and out of pit lane, and you might be hanging on there at the end, and you just got to save those tires as well. A place like this, you really got to save them. I see some of you guys, though, on YouTube chiming in with where you're from. I see Bennington, Nebraska, Nevada, Texas. Not something I thought I'd be saying today. Naugatuck, Connecticut. That's up your direction.
Hey, okay, yep.
We got one from Indiana, from Georgia, from Iowa, so we are nationwide here. The only thing we need now is some off the West Coast. But, you know, it's a West Coast Friday night. Who knows what they're up to? I believe we'll get the one to go signal here and get back double filed, re-racked, restacked. Well, Nathan, I know you watch racing, of course. You get into some of the other racing around you, short track racing and such. We got the Cars Tour at Hickory tomorrow. A lot of eyes, obviously, on the Cars Tour Throwback 276. I guess I can pose a question to you and anybody who's watching. If you'll be watching that race tomorrow, or if you'll be watching something else. I mean, there's a lot of racing going on around the country. A lot of rain as well the last couple weeks here in the Carolinas. We were able to get some racing in at Dillon Motor Speedway last week with the Carolina Pro Late Models on Pit Road TV. But is there anything you've got your eye on tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'll definitely try to put on the Cars Tour. They always put on a really good show when they do run, and it's tricky, you know, because Saturday nights are depending on what we got going on. But I do have flow racing, so if I do get the opportunity to tune in, definitely will be.
See another Nebraska. We've got two out of Nebraska. That's rare that we've got two out of Nebraska. But hello, Nebraska. Glad to have you tuning in this evening. Glad to have you watching. Vicente Salas going to lead us back to the green flag. Trevor Zelazny from second spot. Caden Honeycutt third. Joseph Mealy from fourth. And it'll be Justin Clapper joining us from the fifth spot on this restart. Clapper putting together a pretty solid race. Just shy of lap 60. Green flag back in the air in the Luke's Playhouse 200. Big block from Vicente down on his roommate off into the corner, trying to keep the 8 car at bay. Everybody files up off the corner, 2, 3, 4 wide all the way through. I see rainwater back there on the very bottom, but up front, side by side, Honeycutt down to the bottom of the racetrack. Vicente Salas right on his door.
God, you love to see it. Just clean, hard racing all across the board here. And that clean air being so crucial, so important. And Zielinski trying to peak.
There's a Lasny there on the top side, just kind of running behind these guys, but Salas right back on the door of Honeycutt. Pulls that lead back away. A couple of NASCAR drivers going at it out front. Salas goes all the way to the inside lane. Honeycutt stays up top. And now Honeycutt goes to the bottom. Big dive out of the 8 car. And it's going to hold it. It's rare you see a move not work for these cats, but you saw there, Honeycutt went all the way down. It didn't quite work out. He was going to stuff it, and a caution is back out.
Yeah, if that was the last lap, I think that might have played out a little bit differently, but yeah, Caden definitely thought better of it there. And Trevor just biding his time there in P3, just waiting the door to open.
A little bit of a test, maybe, what these guys might be able to do later on in this race, but you see a moment here for Colton Gardner and others, Quentin Lee involved. Oh, there was a lot happening. Jackson Anderson was caught up in something. We've got a couple of replays to look at. Here's Colton Gardner, though. Middle of the racetrack, gets caught up with the 99 car. I think desperation is setting in for some of these drivers. They want to move forward. They've had a lot of cautions in this race, and they know they're running out of time, so they're starting to get antsy.
Yeah, you just start fighting tooth and nail for every spot you can get, and sometimes you're just driving it a little bit heavy, and there's all take and no give right now. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and that includes Thomas Aaron. We were just talking about Aaron trying to get back into it. And Anderson does a spin.
Save.
And I think part of that was to try and spin back onto the racetrack and draw the yellow, and I can't blame him. I'm surprised there wasn't a caution for that. Anderson grinding up the outside wall there in 1 and 2. And then off the corner here, one car got loose ahead. It was Gilbert. Gilbert slapped the wall, and these two pay the price. And then ahead, you got the 40 car off the corner getting turned by the 99. The 99, by the way, Steven Lashinsky. And that gathers up the 2 of Quentin Lee. Logan Joyle doing his best to miss it.
Yeah, certainly being in that lucky dog spot, the last thing he wants is to be caught up in any sort of incidents now. 83 though with that save in the backdrop. I mean, very shades of Austin Hill here in the final Xfinity race that they had.
There's the onboard for Quentin Lee, gets caught up in this thing, trying to fire by on the bottom, just runs smack in the back of that 40 car. And that was a pretty big hit.
It's so hard there in the field because you might not. It looks a lot clearer to us, viewing it from a third-party perspective. But being in the seat, you sometimes don't have quite the sight lines you wish you did have. You see that stuff happening in front of you, developing, I should say.
Nigel says one of those drivers needs a map. I'm not sure which one he's talking about, but unfortunate. And David is talking about a Steve. Talking about Lashinsky? David Levine chiming in this evening. Glad to have him watching along. Talking about Lashinsky, I think. Saying he was on an ARCA crew back in 2015. David Levine, a friend here of Pit Stop TV with LMS Racing. Went ARCA racing back in 2015 with Lyra Motorsport, and it sounds like maybe Steven Lashinsky was a part of that. And one surefire way usually to tell if one of these guys is actually part of the industry is to bring up this graphic, and usually they have their club converted over to be the Carolinas. And sure enough, out of the Carolina club, Steven Lashinsky there in the 99 car. A little bit of contact and spun that 40 car right around. Back up front, things have changed quite a bit. So I no longer see Caden Honeycutt up here because we had a round of pit stops that we missed. And that includes Caden Honeycutt back here now in the 8 in the 22nd spot. Trevor Zelazny pitted. I see Shea Wills back here. Joseph Mealy, Corey Moore. I see the other 8 of Andrew Keisler, along with Steven Lashinsky, Colton Gardner, and all those other guys that just pitted, including Jackson Anderson. So Caden Honeycutt trying the back-to-front challenge one more time. Going to go to the rear of the field here for this restart, along with Trevor Zelazny. It worked out for Caden already, and we'll see what happens on this edition of Green Flag Racing. Inside of 40 laps to go. In fact, 37 left on the board. Green Flag is back out in the Luke's Playhouse 200. Welcome Caden Lapsevich to the front, racing with Justin Clapper off the green flag there. Side by side they go off the corner. Vicente Salas has an advantage. Hunter Hughes in 4th. And look at them all filing down the back straightaway.
These are the guys up here hoping this runs long right now, hoping for maybe a late caution with like 20 to go. Be able to come in then get fuel and tires and everything like that they'll need to get to the end.
Yeah, at that point you're betting that everybody comes in. If you can get about 20 laps on these tires, bet everybody comes in for fuel and tires and goes back out. So that's the hope for these drivers right now that have stayed out to this point. They know they can't make it to the end, but Caden Lapsevich fires through to second place anyways and brings Nick Leitz along with him. Now these guys pitted 16 laps ago. That is outside of the fuel window. They pitted around the lap 50 caution. Oh, and a block there. Lapsevich tried to cover up Clapper. Clapper was already down there, and Justin goes right on through. Lapsevich left to pick up the pieces and try to save that race car. Oh, and there's going to be a crash there. Ponte in it again. A couple of big hits. One on his lid.
Just when he thought you had it saved up there, and yeah, just the domino still goes down.
That is Victor Pfluger, who was on his lid all the way down into turn 1. He was behind it all when it started. In fact, a pretty good view of it. Gets hooked there by the 1 car of Ponte. Up the racetrack, gets hit again, up onto his lid, and wow, what a view.
All of it wrong place, wrong time.
Did nothing wrong. And that all started with Lapsevich. Got checked up after making contact with Clapper, then came down and blocked into the 34 car. And yeah, I'll put that one on Caden, I think. And the 34 came down afterwards. I think already damaged, of course.
Yeah, and I think he maybe underestimated the run that he had, the 34 had underneath him. And by the time he made the move, he was already at his door at that point.
Here's the view from Chase Leahy's perspective, the 34 car out of New Jersey. Went low and had every right to, and Caden just tried to cover it up, and he was already there. Big hit for the 9 behind him, the 80, the 96.
And it's tough because you don't want to lose all those spots, and you see everybody going by you, and it's sometimes you just gotta sit back and just cut the loss for the lap and just gather it in and try to refocus and move forward again. And
You know who had another pretty solid view of a crash?
don't even say with the 05.
Yeah, Noah Rainwater. Look at all this happening up ahead. Slows it down, drives down to the bottom. That's funny. Driving there with the backwards 27 of Gregory Shepsis, who got the car turned right back around. That is one of the more unique replays I've ever seen.
You have the opportunity to clear yourself. Better way to do it than to just push the clutch in and just roll it on down the hill.
Went for a spin with the 9. That's how the 9 ended up in it. And that's impressive driving to keep it backwards like that. And throws it into a J turn.
And yeah, I was gonna say nice little J turn to boot.
That's impressive.
Seemed like everybody behind the 05 just taking his lead and just saying, you know what, this guy's made it through everything in the kitchen sink so far, so we might as well just back it down and just see where he goes and follow him through.
Well, and you know what? If you're from New Jersey, you might need to have a J turn down. Not just because there's a J in the name, but you never know what you're going to have to do in New Jersey. Of course, they don't do U-turns there. So even on top of that, maybe you need to do a J turn to get where you're going, let alone who knows what happens up in New Jersey. So Shepsis showing off some driving prowess there as our leaders do not pit. And this is now working on 39, 40 laps on the racetrack for Salas and some others. Vicente Salas, Hunter Hughes, Justin Blackburn, all but on the racetrack now for about 40 laps. Even Nick Leeds, Alex Coffey, they have to pit again.
Yeah, and I think, they definitely can't make it to the end. But I think, with as many cautions that we've had and them having the clean air and not having to be too aggressive and being able to shut the engine off potentially even, as soon as the yellow flies, they probably add like another 10, 15 laps onto that tank maybe. But they certainly will have to come down still.
Well, just about at 30 laps to go. In fact, it's lap 69, so the next time around we'll have 31 laps to go. When we go back green flag racing. Vicente Salas out front, Hunter Hughes second. The first car that can go to the end is going to be Caden Honeycutt back here in the 10th spot. And the fact that he's already through to 10th, I mean, that's incredible. We only had a lap or two there of racing. Matthew Ponte's the first car to have pitted under this caution. He's going to line up 21st. Justin Clapper 22nd. Victor Pfluger, after a fast repair, is still in this race, guys. He's 23rd. Gregory Sheps is 24th. So a round of pit stops.
Seeing the strategies changing too, Andrew, and like now everybody having a fresh set of 4 tires, seeing the difference in pace as well. It should get, pretty interesting. Like you said, a lot of people no give it anymore, just taken. So, and these guys certainly gonna have no exception to that.
Yeah, this is very much going to be a no take or no give all take kind of race to the end, I think. 31 laps to go. Let's hope they give for a little bit and get a little bit of racing in. Noah Rainwater going to restart 7th. Green flag back out for Vicente Salas. He snakes the field down to the bottom side of the racetrack. 31 to go in the Luke's Playhouse 200.
Yeah, just a shortest way around, going right to the apron like that. I'm surprised not more people are following him yet.
Alex Coffey, third off the restart, but here comes Nick Lights up top. They're on the same strategy, but they each have to pit again. 3 wide, Caden Honeycutt in the middle, Rainwater down low, Anderson up top, and let's not forget Zelazny there. Zelazny goes middle, Honeycutt bottom. Klein up top in the wall with Anderson. The 10 car is going to crash up into Caden Honeycutt. That is not the line you want to have next to your name today. Big crash there on the front stretch again. Oh, and more big hits.
Oof.
The 7 of Sam King came back up out of nowhere. That was not the 7, actually. Was it? I think it was.
I think it might have been he just disconnected, so I believe you're right.
Well, we'll see what happened here. Caden Honeycutt racing along. The 10 car goes down and comes back up. Wow.
Yeah, just unfortunate luck for Caden. Unbelievable speed today. And the risks of pitting when you do with as many yellows as we've had, and you know, as large of a field as we have too.
On board with Caden Honeycutt. Unsure as to who the 10 car is. They've got a custom number, but the number and scoring is a little bit different. Man.
I don't know who that was on the apron that just scooted by. That was close.
That was... finding out now... Justin Blackburn. Oh, okay. So Blackburn, haven't seen him all day, ends up spinning down low, coming back up, and then turns left down into the grass, hits the inside wall at a hard angle, and he's going to be done. Going to have to take a fast repair if he hasn't yet. And then Sam King, how does he end up in all of this? He's way back here. See Jonathan Platt get the wall there off the corner. Sam King tries to go down low and miss it, slides through the grass. Oh, you can't do this, buddy. Comes up and slams up into a couple of cars trying to get by it.
Yeah, I get the thought behind it of taking to the grass, you know, and sorry, here's an escape route. But yeah, it gets real slick down there, and there's just no, once you put any angle in the wheel, it just comes right around on, especially if you're in the throttle. Unfortunate for Sam.
I believe the 3 car of Curran is involved in this. We'll find out here in a second. Curran actually able to almost get by. James Watson gathered up in it. And big hit. Oh, look at the 39 of Mealy.
Please tell me the 05 made it through again.
Yes, he was right on the inside of Honeycutt, thankfully. That was Mealy, right? I'm trying to find him. These numbers being mixed up is really getting me, and yes, that was Mealy. Going to get run over by the 07 at first. Then gets it to Jackson Anderson, who was in this crash. Corey Moore, and then, wow, the 7 just comes out of nowhere.
Cleaned him out, yeah.
Jackson Anderson on board, coming up. Right there behind Michael Klein, who gets the wall. Honeycutt gets a big hit. Oh my gosh. They keep on crashing.
Not as bad of damage as it certainly could have been. Granted, I don't know how that left front toe is.
Well, no, that's pretty bad.
Oh, you have the right front, excuse me. Oh, yeah.
We've got a request to go back and check the replay of Zelazny's machine. I gotta find him again. Hang on. The numbers are throwing me off. Zelazny. Where did he go? 31. Okay. We'll get one more replay in for Zelazny. And then I think we'll be coming back green. Right through the middle. Hello.
My goodness.
And just the crashing, the explosions in the background almost. But Nick Leeds is going to lead us back to the green flag. Alex Coffey second. And those drivers that had stayed out to this point have since come in. So Vicente Salas comes in for service. Caden Honeycutt now on that strategy after a fast repair. Joseph Mealy, Michael Klein, Hunter Hughes, Jackson Anderson, Cody Curran all come in. Thomas Aaron, James Watson.
I mean, it's something else that we've been briefly touching upon, but, you know, whether having enough fuel, tires, you name it, but also, do you have a fast repair to possibly use still? And that very well is, you know, should be treated like gold at this point with as many yells as we've seen with 25 to go.
Yes, Leeds, Coffey, and Zelazny do. They're the only ones in the top 10, it looks like, aside from Lashinsky and Clapper also do. I want to bestow an honor, though, upon driver 27 quickly. Zach Murtis has brought it to my attention that he is today's world's best backwards driver after that moment earlier. That's a Toe Mater reference. Appreciate that, Zach. But here we go, back in the Geico restart zone, and green flag is back out. 26 laps to go. Honeycutt, way down low. Coffey, though, takes over second. 4 wide through most of the field. Whoa, they're going to check up. Hopefully not a crash off the corner. Rainwater through to 5th, and there we go, a crash off the corner. Anderson's in it in the 83. I see the 9 of Morton. Oh, and Mealy just gets by.
Just barely scooched by.
While we queue up some replays, I want to remind everybody why we're here racing this evening in benefit of Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym. Local here in North Carolina, where I live, and is aimed at being a YMCA for those with disabilities and chronic illnesses that basically warrant themselves to have aquatherapy and other special needs at a gymnasium, and they're trying to have a full-on gymnasium aquatic center. It really is a really cool dream these guys are building up and putting into action now with help from money from viewers like you this evening. If you're able to donate this evening, we invite you to do so on Venmo at Luke's Playhouse as you take a look at what happened here off the back stretch. Again, that's at Luke's Playhouse. You see the back end of the link there at the top right of your screen. Well, you will here in a second. There we go. Top right of your screen. Donate to Luke's Playhouse on Venmo, if you're able. And as far as fast repairs, I see that conversation out in the chat. Yes, these drivers have won this evening, as it looks like some more will come down to the pit lane. Hunter Hughes leading in a charge of several drivers.
As you said, Andrew, you know, certainly such an awesome cause, and no donation's too small, and you know, a fantastic initiative that Luke's putting on to, you know, not only to better his life, but as well as like other people in the community too.
Hunter Hughes works back off the pit lane, and I'm just going to go back and review the statement that we were given before all of this. So this is straight from the family, right? This is straight from the Rainwater family. Our goal is to provide individuals, including adults, children, and veterans with disabilities or chronic health conditions, a place where they can receive aquatic therapy by a licensed physical therapist and the use of a full-size gymnasium for special needs sporting events at little to no costs. Our son Luke was born with spina bifida in 2009, which has forever changed our lives in a positive way. Luke is full of energy and enjoys traveling, meeting new people. Sorry, I lost my line there. Meeting new people, attending contemporary Christian concerts, and conversing with others. He loves to share his journey with others to show that just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't do something. Over the years, they've hosted Spina Bifida Awareness Day, as well as participated in many adaptive activities, which includes water skiing, snow skiing, basketball, baseball, and adaptive surfing. Luke has learned that if he wants to do something, then they make it happen by adapting the activity to enable him to participate. They quickly learned that many facilities are not handicapped accessible, Costs for therapy such as physical, occupational, music, and speech are very high for therapy as well as limited with insurance. So their goal is to build a facility that is fully handicap accessible and offer a wide range of services to families for free when insurance is not available. In order to do this, in order to make this dream a reality, they need your help. Please consider donating, sharing their story, and reaching out if you have any questions. Together, we can make this happen. We can bring children and families together with chronic illnesses and allow them a safe place for therapy and loads of fun activities. And if reading that does not jerk at your heartstrings a little bit, it should. That is a big-time mission that they have set out on, and Luke's Playhouse and Wellness Center is, again, located in North Carolina, and I believe they're working on getting everything together to start construction on a new aquatic center and full-on gymnasium, and that's just incredible, I gotta say. So the Luke's Playhouse Foundation, I believe, is exactly how Noah Rainwater put it earlier this evening. You can look them up on Facebook at Luke's Playhouse and Wellness Center. And we are about to go back green flag racing. 22 laps to go. The sun is setting here in Southern California, and we are about to turn them back green. Green flag is back out. 22 to go. Three, four wide through the field. Off the corner they go, and look at this. Caden Honeycutt diving through the field. One car gets turned. It's Justin Clapper on the outside wall with the one of Matthew Ponte. And Clapper will come to rest there on the backstretch and get back going. That at least is going to be a quick caution, it looks like.
Yep, as it should be. And yeah, I feel like the 63, just unfortunate situations he's been finding himself in the past, 20, 30 laps or so. He was running really strong up near the front earlier on in this thing and just slowly getting into the mix with things as the run goes on.
The Clapper goes for that spin. He and Ponte just kind of met in the middle. We'll watch this back. So on board with Ponte, they really just meet in the middle. One driver went up, the other driver came down a little bit. And unfortunately...
Yeah, Ponte had a huge run, and I don't know that Clapper fully expected him to take the outside there as they're clearing up off the fade off corner exit like that.
No, the 63 restarted in front of him. You got Vicente Salas to the outside, Honeycutt to the inside. The 40 down there of Colton Gardner. Comes off the corner in the middle, and I really think he came up a little bit. Ponte came down a little bit. They meet in the middle. Great job by the 3 to check up.
Yeah, definitely a wiggle out of Ponte.
Nick
Like
Leitz
we were saying, though, go ahead.
Nick Leitz is going to stay on the racetrack here. He's been on the racetrack now for 32 laps, along with Alex Coffey. And I got to believe these guys are starting to wear out their tires and fuel. You see the full running order there on the left side of the screen.
And as that fuel runs down too, that's a lot less weight in the car, and it'll certainly affect the balance on how it runs on corner entry as well as corner exit. So, it's definitely evolving as the temperature changes with the sun going down and the lights turn on, and which drivers are going to shine brightest here as getting down to the closing laps.
Yeah, we're inside of 20 laps to go, and I see the sun is really set. This was billed as an afternoon to evening race, and it's quickly becoming a night race. I'm getting my night B-roll ready on the other screen, and getting ready. If we get there, we're going to have that night B-roll queued up. I mean, it's getting darker and darker here at the virtual speedway. You see the sun is setting behind the mountains there. We're getting close. And the lights should be coming on really at any point in time. It's getting darker. Oh yeah, the lights are on. I can see them.
They are on. Yep.
So as far as who can go to victory lane here, Nick Leitz, prime contender, but he has to pit. I don't think he can go 20 more laps on this tank. I know there's been a lot of caution laps, but do we really think he can extend it like Brad Keselowski or Joey Logano?
I think from this point where he came in last, I just even if we just get restart after restart, I physically do not think he can make it.
He's going to give it a shot, I think. I mean, if he's still on the racetrack inside of 20 to go, he must be making his bed and lying in it too. He's committing for sure. We've had 37 laps of caution. We had some decent green flag racing there to get going, hoping we can have some more to the end.
And not to rule out the 23 or the 15 of Coffee, if that's the correct 15, excuse me, if it's not. But they've been kind of waiting in the wings.
That is Coffee, and Coffee's on the same strategy. The 215 cars here, Leitz and Coffee, both on that 33 lap old strategy. Trevor Zelazny's the first car that I think can make it. Noah Rainwater has also likely got a pit. He's been on the racetrack for 30 laps. Although that 30 laps, so I think he's with these guys actually, because that 30 laps ago, that was his trip down the pit lane, missing the James Watson spin.
Oh yes, you're correct. Yeah, so if I'm the 23 car, if I'm Trevor, I'm just kind of hoping that just keep bringing the cautions, knowing that I'm sitting pretty where I'm at in this position, and other people are gonna eventually have to commit to pit road at some point.
You see Salas and Honeycutt diving way onto the apron, trying to warm their tires. We're going to bunch them back up, send them into the Geico restart zone, and get green flag racing once more. Inside now with 20 laps to go. Green flag back in the air in the Luke's Playhouse 200. And look at Coffee right on the back end of Leitz. Here comes Lashinsky down low.
He has a huge jump by Coffee, timed that restart perfectly. But Trevor fighting on the outside here.
Zelazny up the hill. Got back behind the steering. Here comes a 4 wide. Lashinsky way down low. Salas just squeezes through there between Rainwater and the 99 of Lashinsky. Zelazny up top. Honeycutt pulls up. And how about the 12 of Weaver? Haven't said his name all night long. He's got a front row seat to this fight off of the straightaway, off of turn 4. Incredible stuff here today.
You're going to start seeing the guys who were fortunate enough to maybe miss some of the stuff, the extracurriculars early on, and then as well as biding their time and managing their machines to be able to put it where they need to here in the final laps.
Over the bumps and into turn number 3. Caden Honeycutt, Vicente Salas racing for third. Out front is the 215 cars. Nick Leitz scored as the 24. And then Alex Coffey scored as the 15. Your top two. Honeycutt gets behind a little bit here. He's getting passed up by Zelazny as Salas goes purple. And look at Rainwater here, running 6th. Gets in line now behind Zelazny in the 23 car. A little bit of bumping, a little bit of banging as the sun sets behind him in turn 3.
Great shot there, just him wrapping the apron, trying to just throw a slider, get to his door as much as he can, and the 23 just being able to get that much more of a run off the exit.
And lead change, Vicente Salas to the front. Caden Honeycutt runs the fastest lap of the race, a 40.175. It was a 176 that last lap. All of these guys, well, 176 rather for Salas. They were separated by 1/1000th of a second. All of these guys are running their best laps of their race out front right now. Alex Coffey right on the door of Caden Honeycutt. Crowding that 8 car down. Now Honeycutt fires back, pushing the 15 up. That was 15 laps to go, and Coffey gets back to second.
Yeah, and if you're Coffey, that's exactly what you got to be doing there. You got to just pinch him low and just not let him be able to fade up the track on exit. So
Whoa!
Whoa!
Big send, and that was clutch. I think he might. No, you're kidding. Did Salas have the lead? I thought Coffey did for sure there when the caution came out.
Yeah, go back and review that score, and Loop, we're going to have to take a look, but I think he did too.
And a caution does come out. Victor Pfluger, maybe? Who was it turned around? The slowest car on the racetrack was Fuge in the 68. Okay, well, slowest, I'd say the lowest lead lap car anyway. I see one spinning back there. And it was the 30 of Lapsevich. So go back and look at what happened to the 30 car of Caden Lapsevich. He's had a bad day.
Yeah, he's ready for these laps to just tick down and be done and just load up the hauler and get out of Dodge here. Yeah, just self-spin off the corner.
Glad he was able to somewhat hang on to it, right? Didn't make any contact with any part of the wall. That could have been bad.
Or any other competitors on track either.
Yeah. That could have been bad in a hurry. Let's see how he got loose. He's back here on his own. Gets back to power, up the racetrack, and it just snapped around on him.
That has been the general feedback all week from people at this track with running these cars is just really loose corner exit. You really have to be careful with the throttle.
Yeah, you've been talking about your A-fixed experiences, that being the A-class on iRacing Oval, so your top class, the NASCAR Cup Series class, more or less. Talking about running A-fixed, which is fixed setup races. So how has your experience been in those races? Shorter races for sure. I mean, probably around 50 laps, I'd imagine.
35 this week.
Oh, wow.
And it's been a bit of a microcosm, if you will, of what we've witnessed here tonight.
See one car getting a lap back. Well, Noah Rainwater still got a pit, along with Alex Coffey and Nick Leeds. But they are committing here, aren't they? I mean, we're down to...
Yeah, at this point I'm wondering just when they're going to pull the trigger and do it.
down to 12 laps to go, and they've been on the racetrack now for 40.
I mean, unless they're doing something that we're missing, if they're shutting the car off on entry or clutching it, or those are the only things I could see possibly allowing them to even possibly make it to the end at this point.
Well, if you look here, fifth gear. Now, Coffey is not putting the clutch in right now or shutting the car off, which is a little concerning. You go back to Leeds, it's the same story. Circle it there, fifth gear. So they're running the motor as slowly as they can right now. They could definitely be clutching the car, though, if they wanted. Here's Rainwater, exact same deal. Fifth gear. Keeping it right around 3,000 to 3,200 RPMs.
Yeah, and keeping it under power the whole time, all of them. Surprised. Unless, I mean, hey, just like NASCAR, maybe we miscalculated under testing what we figured fuel mileage would maybe be for these guys, and they're giving us some new data for sure.
And yeah, I mean, these guys talking about having so many yellows, I get it. It seems like so many laps to try and make up, and that was going to be my counter, as we've had a lot of caution flag period, and I think we have some more on the way. I think that's what these guys are counting on as Rainwater gets down to first gear. He's clearly not too worried about fuel, or he'd be saving a little bit harder here. So,
oh yeah,
I mean, they know better than us, certainly, what their fuel situation looks like, right? So if they're dropping it down to second gear under pacing, they're not concerned.
They're pretty confident. Yep, exactly. And I was wondering, possibly the time component, because I know we do have a time limit on this event, but we are well clear of that still.
Uh-oh. Problems for Noah Rainwater. I think he has just dropped out of this race.
Oh my gosh, yes, packet loss.
Oh my gosh, we were on board for him when it happened. Oh no. Hopefully he can get back in before the end of this race and get a lap or two back. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but we are going to go into the Geico restart zone here and have 10 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. Vicente Salas leads us back into the restart zone, and we are back green. Ten laps remaining. Crowding down the racetrack is Coffee. He crowds Honeycutt all the way down there, but Honeycutt wraps the white line. Off the corner, Salas with the race lead, then Nick Leitz, then Caden Honeycutt, Alex Coffey, then Trevor Zelazny, and how about Jackson Anderson back up here into 6th? One lap complete off of the restart. 9 laps to go.
And I think in terms of tires, I think he has the freshest tires other than Honeycutt.
Honeycutt making a charge here for 2nd spot. He will get down there and make the pass. He's going for 1st as he goes up the racetrack. Went up in a hurry. Opens the door here for Leeds back on the bottom. And as far as best tires right now, it is Jackson Anderson in the 15. Not 15, in the 83 rather. There's so many 15 cars, they're polluting my brain. Speaking of 15s, Leitz works all the way down onto the apron that time through 3 and 4. Honeycutt kept him there. Problems, though, for Jackson Anderson. He's getting swallowed up.
Yeah, he's getting all the side draft and just really pulling him back, be able to get up with them and battle with the lead there.
Gotta wonder if he truly has the best tires, considering he's been in the pit lane 6 times. When did he take that final set? Unfortunately, we don't get that data, so we're not entirely sure, but we've got ourselves a race for the win up ahead. It was 8 laps to go last time by. On board with race leader Vicente Salas.
Absolutely, Andrew. Looks to be about 5-car race, give or take, at this point, with I think everybody, being within a half a second of each other. Could be anyone's at this point in time.
Caden Honeycutt, fastest lap of the race, a 1:37 that time. Zelazny, a 1:35, went even faster by 2/1000ths of a second. Honeycutt's going to get clear for the race lead over his roommate Vicente Salas, and Zelazny pulls into 4th. Big block, Honeycutt puts himself in the fence. This is incredible. We're coming around to 6 to go.
It's going to open the door for Leeds. Zelazny potentially.
Don't count anybody in this top 5 out of the race yet. 6 laps to go. Side by side, Salas and Honeycutt. Salas in the bottom. Big move. Nick Leeds all the way down from the attic to the basement. Works the bottom. Wraps it perfectly. Honeycutt back to 3rd. Salas the race leader. Leeds, though, trying to say something about it. 3 wide we go. Here comes Zelazny, a push maybe to Salas on the top side, yes. You see 4 different lanes from your top 4, 5 from your top 5. Oh, contact there, Coffey gets into Zelazny, Zelazny has a run. Salas and Honeycutt get away, 5 to go.
Yeah, the 23's got to clear the 15 here. He's got to clear Leeds, and he does.
Teammates, roommates, moving around to the front of the field. Maybe not teammates. I'll take that one back. As they've been roughing each other up all day long. 5 laps to go. You're watching it from Zelazny's perspective. He's trying to draft off a Honeycutt. I think he just needs to keep doing exactly what he's doing. Work the top side, get a run on the straightaways.
He's been running the top better than almost anybody this entire time, and he's really utilizing it now.
4 laps to go. This time by, you see Salas block Honeycutt to the apron. This is incredible stuff, and this is all to benefit Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym. This is fun. Learning, by the way, it's Nick Lights. Only took 97 laps to do it, but here we go. Bottom side of the racetrack. 8 car. Back to the point. That's Caden Honeycutt. Vicente Salas pulls back in behind him. 3 to go. This time by, you see him make a little bit of contact off the corner. More contact there to the stripe. Salas leads the lap, 3 to go. Lights is pushing the 23 of Zelazny.
Yeah, and if anything, they need to be working together now more than anything, rather than fighting one another. And I know Trevor's playing a lot more defense than he'd probably like to at this point in time.
We'll see if Lights gives that 23 car a shove. Dancing around, tiptoeing, are the top two one more time. Honeycutt back to the inside, takes the lead back away. Salas has to pedal the car back down to the bottom in second. Zelazny might have a run here. He pulls up. 2 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. What a run this has been. 5 cars out front just dancing around for the lead. Salas back to the bottom. Honeycutt stuck up top. Slide job out of Salas. Crossover out of Honeycutt.
23 should have a big run here. He does.
You see Salas starting to cover it up. He goes up the racetrack. Honeycutt's clear of them both. He shoves it up in front of the 23, gets himself loose. It'll be white flag this time by. Salas down low. Zelazny looking for a hole. Side by side, 3 wide, Coffee in it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Who is going to win the Luke's Playhouse 200? Honeycutt controlling the race. Coffee in second. Tires are aging. Zelazny off the top rope. Got a little bit free. He's going to crash with Lights. And yes, wall there. Who knows? Honeycutt, though, leading the race. Can Coffee get a run? He's going to send it. He hits him. Big bump and run. Coffee's going to try and get away. Can Salas get there? Coffee's going to crash. Salas is going to crash. Watch Nick Lights here to the stripe. Salas is going to do it with no front bumper.
Unbelievable.
Wow. Salas, Lights, Coffee, Anderson, Morton, your top 5.
And in true Whelen modified tour fashion, my gosh, Vicente gets it across the line.
Unbelievable. Vicente Salas to victory lane. He wins the Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym 200 in unbelievable fashion. Contact there from Coffee to Honeycutt. Coffee must not be an 8-car fan. And down to the front stretch, Vicente Salas is your race winner. Again, just unbelievable stuff. That was fun to watch.
Excellent racing throughout the field. Especially those laps, 15 laps. My gosh, what a show.
Jonathan Platt, I believe, is his spotter in the real world. I believe. And Platt's doing some burnouts here with him. That was crazy.
A little bit of a win for the 43 vicariously, if we will. But yeah, my gosh, what a finish. I'm surprised that car can do a burnout, quite frankly.
Me too. I think Coffee might have been repaying a favor to Honeycutt from the heat race. That's what it sounds like in the YouTube chat. I know, I didn't recall that it was Coffee he made contact with, but I knew there was something there between Honeycutt and another driver. But the Tony Kanaan esports driver of Vicente Salas gets posted to victory lane here. What a show. Should we take a replay?
I think we should.
Of course we should. Let's take a look back and see how that race ended one more time. This is the last lap, I believe. Double check that. Yes, white flag lap right here. So watch Coffee in the 15.
Great job carrying momentum off the 2. Big shove to Trevor. But I mean, you have the run, it's the white flag, you're not lifting at that point in time. You hate to turn the guy, but...
Watch Coffee here, sends it all the way to the 8 car. I'm surprised he got there, hit him pretty square, and then they all saved it here. It was going to be a fantastic run to the end, and then Coffee just lost it and smashes into the 8 car, and the 8 does a spin. Honeycutt's going to finish 16th. Coffee comes across the line 3rd with one wheel completely hanging off the race car. We'll be talking to him.
Yeah, if only we could be in the cool down room right now. My gosh, I can only imagine the emotions going on. And that's, yeah, I mean, if he holds on to that here, props to Caden too. My gosh, what a save, keeping that thing going straight. And if he holds on to that, I think we might have enough side force to slow down Vicente to just maybe even get it a 3-way drag race to the line.
If he could have just hung on to it, what a bump and run that would have been. He might have won the race if he could have just hung on corner exit. And from Vicente's perspective here, running 3rd, he sees the bump and run, hooks the bottom, knows that daylight is opening up for him, just has to get past the 15, contact there, and it's just a run to the checkers.
Yeah, from that perspective, it looks like the 15, it looks like Coffee sees him in the mirror coming and just kind of overcorrects a little bit downhill to try to block the run Vicente had, and I'd really be curious to know if he ended up completing the corner and just fading out corner exit like he normally would.
Well, here, watch the hands. Watch his hands here on this replay.
No, he lost the rear.
Lost it.
Yeah, yep. All in all, fantastic driving, though, from everybody up there.
That was awesome. One more time. And you know what? Let's watch this from the bumper cam on Honeycutt. Watch the contact. Boom. And then he's still got a really good chance if he can just pedal it, and he does. He saves it. Fantastic save, and then nowhere to go. And unfortunately, is doomed down to the inside of the racetrack through the grass, trying to get back going. Is going to finish 16th.
Yeah, like you said, Andrew, I can't believe the 15 honestly got there. Yeah, I mean, that was from 2.5 car lengths back, give or take.
From way back there. But we'll take a look at your unofficial race results. Vicente Salas to victory lane. Nick Lights in 2nd. Alex Coffey 3rd. Jackson Anderson. Barrett Morton, your top 5. Michael Klein. What a recovery for Klein. He's going to finish 6th out of all of this. Really incredible considering the couple of spins he had to go through today. Colton Gardner, Justin Clapper, Matthew Ponte recovers tonight, and James Watson, who felt like he was in all of those crashes there for a little while, ends up 10th in all of this.
And Steven Leshinsky in the 99, good recovery again to get in the 11th spot. Evan Gilbert in the 22 machine, finishing in 12th. Cody Curran in the 3 car in the 13th spot. 14th, Riley Weaver. Victor Fugel, my gosh, a quiet day, but still 15th. Solid run. And Caden, 16th, unfortunately, after that last lap caution, that last lap wreck, excuse me. Corey Moore in the 17th spot. Christopher Fugue in the 18th spot. Hunter Hughes, 19th, and rounder out the top 20, Joseph Millet.
Trevor Zelazny finishes 21st after all of that on the backstretch. Thomas Aaron there 22nd. Gregory Shepsis in 23rd. Shea Willis, Christian Light, Noah Rainwater 4 laps down in 26th spot after his disconnection. Jonathan Platt there in 27th. Ends up doing burnouts with the race winner. Logan Joyle in 28th. Caden Lapsovich, Justin Blackburn, your top 30. And around at the field, you see the back end of the field here. Sam King, another highlight. I would say Chase Leahy's a highlight on this page. Quentin Lee, Cody Vaughn for sure led laps early in this race, ends up coming home definitely a bit short out of it all, and unfortunate stuff for several drivers here. Shane Huffman, very last of them all. But let's get our race-winning driver Vicente Salas with a race win in amazing fashion. I don't know what to call that last lap. What happened from your perspective here, Vicente?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was pretty locked in on the racing we were doing, and I didn't even realize we were coming to the final lap. I know as a driver, I should probably be aware of such things like that, but now coming to the final lap, I knew there was gonna be some chaos. So kind of went into turn 1, just trying to be cautious, have a good run off, set myself up for a run into 3 to give it to them. And obviously they ended up wrecking in front of me, and I'm glad I could get through there, steal the win there at my home track, and especially for my buddy Luke. So hopefully that was a good show for him, and hopefully everybody watching enjoyed it.
Well, we definitely enjoyed it in the booth. 35 laps led, obviously a good day for you. What do you feel like you and Caden had that put you just miles above the rest, aside from the I rating, the pro license? You guys are all on equal cars on the racetrack. What did you guys have?
I think it's just the fact that this track wears out your tires so much, and you can run, I mean, essentially anywhere on the surface. So it was fun being able to maneuver, you know, past cars. You could downshift, you could stay in fifth. So I think it was just the fact that there were so many tools at our disposal to use. And, you know, honestly, for me, this being my home track, I've watched races here for years, you know, kind of seen them play out. Done a bunch of races here on iRacing just because it's my favorite track. So I feel like all the track time over the last few years kind of helped me out tonight.
And hey, you're here. You have won the Luke's Playhouse 200. What brought you to this race? Why did you run this one?
Well, I think it was just for my buddy Luke. You know, meeting him at Charlotte Motor Speedway a couple months ago was such an honor. It was such a cool thing to meet him, talk with him, you know, and being good buddies with his brother too. When his brother hit me up about this race, you know, at this track with especially everybody else that was going to be running too, I couldn't say no. I wanted to take part and, you know, be someone to help put on a show. So.
Well, congratulations. Thanks for being here, Vicente. Thanks for your time. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, and huge shout out to Noah for putting this on for Luke. I'm praying for all of you guys. Hopefully the show was good, and yeah, it was just such a really good time, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here, Vicente Salas from Victory Lane. And boy, what a race, Nathan. What a race that he was able to go ahead and go to Victory Lane in. We'll grab Nick Lights, who goes second place. Nick, crazy ending to the race there. What did you see from your perspective there at the end?
Yeah, crazy for sure. Man, that was a lot of fun. First off, yeah, that was a wild turns 3 and 4 for those guys. We were able to get through it and come home second, so happy about that.
You've got some real world experience, 29 laps led. Clearly you had an idea of what was going on here. Really fast race car. What did you feel like you could use, feel like you had against a lot of these drivers that you were racing with this evening? Clearly, I think Caden and Vicente had a little something extra, but what did you have? You were close to them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do this league on Tuesday, and that helps me get comfortable with this car because this car is so different from anything else on iRacing, and you know, real life, I guess. But yeah, being able to just transfer that into here was a big help for you know, running up front and finishing strong, I believe.
Oh, finishing strong is an understatement. Second place here at the end. What brings you to this event, though? Why did you run this Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym 200?
Noah, I think he came to me and was, you know, just see if I was interested in this, and I said, of course. You know, he's good friends with my friend Joe, and it was good to have all of us in here racing for a good cause. And shout out to him for putting it on. I know it's a good charity event for him as well.
Absolutely. Glad to have you here. Thank you for your time, Nick. Congratulations on a P2.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's going to be Alex Coffey who goes third place this evening. We'll walk down and grab driver 15 there at the end. The home of the bump and run apparently in turn 3. You nearly had it, Alex. What happened off of turn 4?
Yeah, I just had to go for it. You know, when you in range to go for it, got to go for it. But I saw Vicente coming with a run down low and tried to get back down there to play a little defense, I guess. A little too early over the bumps, got a little loose, and at the way I was loose, it was either kill Vicente on accident or fence myself. So I chose not to try to hit anybody after that. So put it in the fence. I'm sure there's a few not too happy. Well, I know there's a few not too happy with me, but you know, it happens. We went for it, had to go for it. Wouldn't have felt right not trying to go for it.
You mentioned going for it at the end. Was there any kind of payback in mind for something we missed, or was that just purely going for the race win? You saw it in front of you, targeted in, zoned in, and you just went for your only opportunity there at that point to try and get the race win this evening?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's payback. My mom's probably watching out there in the chat, and she knows good as anybody. If it was her out there in the same spot, still would have went for it. So I don't really feel too bad about it. Like I said, I know a few people ain't too happy, but it was all for fun. Had to go for it. Hope it was an exciting finish. I know those last 10 laps were dogfight. It was real fun out there.
It was an amazing last 10 laps. Congratulations, Alex. A really bold strategy, too. Were you guys ever concerned about fuel?
When we first pit, it was pretty much on the number, maybe a lap or so short. But with those frequent cautions, I ended up 6 gallons to the good. So the worry kind of went out of the window pretty early on in the fuel tank. So yeah, it was a concern a little bit, but towards the end, it was all out. So
our fuel number was a little bit short there, Nathan. Well, congratulations, Alex. P3 at the end, a very, very solid day. Should have had a bunch of laps led, 0 unfortunately in that column, but a really solid one for sure.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Shout out to y'all for doing the broadcast and everybody for putting this race on. I know it's for a special cause. So, yeah, shout out to everybody that was a part of putting it on, and hope we delivered on the show part of it.
That you did. Alex Coffey, P3. And you know what? We've even got the other side of that bump and run. Let's go down and get him. Caden Honeycutt, when it's all said and done, a big bump to you on the last lap. What happened from your perspective?
I guess this was hard racing there at the end. I was really just trying to put on a show for Luke, and I hope we did that. I think we did that there at the end with me and Vicente those last 7-8 laps or so. So that's all I really cared about, was making sure that we had a good race. It was fun to watch and brought some great racing. So hats off to my buddy and my roommate for doing that. Yeah, it was just really a fun race. I enjoyed every second of that. So yeah, shout out to Luke. Hopefully he gets better. I know he had to go to the hospital tonight. So I just hope that he heals up quick. That's all I care about. That he's doing better, and yeah, I can't wait for the next one. Anytime that Noah puts on these races, I will make sure to have the time to go out and run and do these. So thank y'all for broadcasting this. We appreciate y'all for what y'all do for us, and yeah, hopefully we'll go on to the next one for the next year. If not, we'll come back in a couple months and do this again.
Caden, thanks for your time. Congratulations. Really solid day.
Of course, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all doing this.
Caden Honeycutt, P16 at the end. Got to appreciate everything he does. And certainly a lot of fun there at the end. He went back and forth with his roommate. Hey, that was just amazing racing. I can't sum it up any other way. Just amazing racing, Nathan. I'm just glad I was here to call it.
No, absolutely. I mean, those guys put on one heck of a show the last 10 laps. And yeah, I think, interestingly enough, that's racing for you, where it's like you'd hope Vicente and Caden just go and have a couple beers now together after duking it out over those last 10 for the win. And yeah, awesome show that they put on tonight.
Well, thank you so much to our partners with the event, Luke's Playhouse, Wellness Center and Gym, Pine Golf, Whiplash Simcams, all being a part of this one. A big nod to our partners with the channel, of course, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, and CC's Business, making this broadcast a possibility. Thank you to all of you watching. Make sure to donate if you can on Venmo to Luke's Playhouse, and the family would very much appreciate it. Our best wishes, our prayers go up to Luke this evening. I know he had to go to the hospital earlier. Hopefully he was able to watch this event. Of course, there's bigger things at stake going on, but hopefully he was able to, in between, get his eyes on this one. It was a good one, and Luke, we're thinking about you, buddy. We really, really, really are. And this is the part where I get a little choked up, Finnegan. I am so thankful that Noah Rainwater messaged me about this event weeks ago, and the Rainwater family chose Pit Stop TV to go with for this broadcast. So honored to have been here. So honored to have been a part of this event. I'm just glad to have been here. I don't know about you, Nathan. I'm just really thankful, really privileged to have been a part of this. And as we close the broadcast, really all thoughts are with Luke.
Absolutely. And again, I appreciate you having me in here with you tonight, Andrew. And again, yeah, we're definitely thinking of Luke, and no donations too small, and definitely wishing him the best. And again, yeah, like you said, it's a privilege to be able to do this with you, and us to get that call tonight to do this broadcast for them. So
Absolutely. Again, just glad to have been here. Thank you to the Rainwater family. For those of us continuing on with Pit Stop TV the rest of the week, we go out to Atlanta this weekend for the Icon Cup Series. Next week, we head out to the Suzuka Circuit with the North American Racing League on August 1st. And next Sunday, it's out to right back here to Auto Club Speedway. We just got a taste of what we're in store for with the Icon Cup Series on August 4th. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Nathan, there's plenty of places to watch along.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to those events, and everybody can check them out at pitstoptv.com or pitstoptv at our socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X.
Thanks for tuning in this evening. It's been a pleasure for sure, a privilege as always, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. For everybody here at Pit Stop TV, thank you. We'll see you next time.
On Friday, July 26th, take the next gen to the California Sands at Auto Club for the inaugural Luke's Playhouse 200 charity race. A $5 minimum entry fee donation gives you the chance to race against real NASCAR stars and show support for Luke's Playhouse's commitment to providing aquatic therapy for children and adults with chronic illnesses. 100 laps, no stages, one winner. Catch all the action July 26th on Pit Stop TV.